And to help people struggling with tax debt. Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm, A-rated by the Better Business Bureau. Their award-winning team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to end your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other IRS actions. Make sure you're getting the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima today for a free confidential consultation.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
You want to show that special person in your life how much you care? Then start the new year off with the 5 C's from Cozy Jewelers. I'm talking about color, cut, clarity, carat, and of course, the Cozy Touch. Our diamonds showcase vibrant color, precision cut, unparalleled clarity, and a carat that captures hearts. All of that adds up to an unforgettable gift, and that is the Cozy Touch. So for any special occasion, there is only one place to shop, Cozy Jewelers in Newtown Square, or online at CozyJewelers.com.
How many times will you risk that dangerous climb in and out of the bathtub this year? It's a smart resolution to convert that unsafe, ugly old bathtub to a gorgeous new shower. The jacuzzi shower system from PJ Fitzpatrick features a low entry. That means no more tub hopping for 2025. The jacuzzi shower is luxurious, affordable, and it all installs in just one day. Plus, PJ Fitzpatrick will include a free designer safety package this month. Visit trustpj.com for your free design consultation.
Philadelphia's Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. Always live on the free Odyssey app. It's Dom time. Now, Dom Giordano.
It is Dom time. Welcome in. More hearings. Pam Bondi will give you the highlights of that. Marco Rubio will play some of that. Also, not as contentious, certainly, as yesterday with Pete Hegseth. But the big news today at the 11th hour, the waning days of the Biden regime, is that the FDA, the U.S. FDA, has now banned red food dye over possible cancer risk. They are revoking the authorized uses in food and ingested drugs of FD&C red number 3 in the color additive regulations, says a document from the Department of Health and Human Services. The decision follows a petition filed by the Center for Science and the Public Interest November 2022. Why today? Is this something related to RFK Jr.? Is this some kind of mechanism to try to take some steam out of what he might say in order to say, yeah, we took care of that. Now let's attack you on vaccine? I'm not sure, but it's curious in the waning days that they did it. And I have no problem with that. I'm searching this because it just came down in the Federal Register of how long they have to do it.
2027/2028.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, there we go. So, all right, this gives Kennedy a chance. Then, so maybe this backfires. It gives Kennedy a chance to say this just makes it look prettier. It doesn't do anything that's good. We ought to do this sooner. Are they hoping he goes down that path? Are they hoping he goes down that path so that the big agriculture, the Democrat senators and others can jump him that way and to say this guy will wreck our economy? I don't know. Hard to read why at this point, but it is big news. And it is related to me to how big Kennedy's legacy and what he's going to do will be. 855-839-1210. You get on board. So we do have Judge Patrick Dugan supported by the building trades, the powerhouse. I would argue if I'm running for something in Philadelphia, they're the number one group that I want for a lot of reasons. Money, ground troops, inside baseball stuff. My God, they just didn't even include the mayor in moving the facility back.
That was embarrassing.
By the way, on that, we now know that the NBA commissioner was involved, and I'm waiting, and I'll keep my eye on the ball. Did Harris get something promised at the federal level vis-a-vis RFK, not RFK Jr., but RFK Stadium, moving back to the city. Was there some sweetening that went on with this or some threat? I'm not sure. Remember, this guy's tied up with 3 franchises, which is ridiculous. But we'll see how that all plays out, okay? But the NBA commissioner was a driving force with this. All right, so Pam Bondi today is in front of the Grassley Commission, and I wouldn't say it's been heated, but they have settled in on going after her on the so-called issue that she is an election denier. All right, that's the big takeaway from today. And they've tried to say, how can we be sure you won't weaponize and all this? No, Pam Bondi is a spectacular choice. And I think the big takeaway, and we're going to talk with Scott Jennings about this at 2 o'clock from yesterday with Hegseth, is that this makes the road easier now for Trump appointees like Tulsi Gabbard. Almost every insider, almost everybody makes the point that they really went all out to try to stop Hegseth. Can they do that with Gabbard? Now, they may try, but then, they're expending political capital here. This didn't look good yesterday. And the biggest group that Democrats are concerned about, the reaction of independents. Across the board, anybody that really follows this stuff thinks that watching this yesterday, that independents would be okay with Pete Hegseth. Gabbard has the toughest road on this. There are Republicans, apparently, secretly hoping that something happens where it'll be obvious that she shouldn't be the head of the intelligence apparatus. The CIA guy, Ratcliffe, is having easy sailing today, as far as I can tell. He's very accomplished. He'll be great in that. Here is Marco Rubio. This is cut 27. Here's Rubio talking about what will the top priority of Marco Rubio as Secretary of State be. Cut 27.
Ultimately, under President Trump, the top priority of the United States Department of State will be the United States. The direction he has given for the conduct of our foreign policy is clear. Every dollar we spend, every program we fund, every policy we pursue must be justified by the answer to one of 3 questions. Does it make America safer? Does it make America stronger? Or does it make America more prosperous?
All right, there you go.
Should go in a building somewhere.
And I think that, yes, that is America
I was
first.
over your mouth. You've been there like 4 times now, but it's great how he worded
Rubio
that.
was pretty funny, too. I've done an event with Rubio. And at that point, it was like a rock star of rock star. We actually had to come through the kitchen over in Feasterville at a Holiday Inn because of the swarm of people, over 600-700 people coming out on a random Tuesday. We had to change the date because he had to vote on something, and it was spectacular. He will be a really good Secretary of State. Now, I don't know if he's going to clash with Trump. That's what people are predicting. I think he's solidly on board with this. He called out the globalist. I think Marco Rubio will be fine. He was funny in that he said the protesters today are bilingual. They were yelling in Spanish, and they were yelling in English when he... there you go.
Back to order. I get bilingual protesters, which I think is an inch cool.
There you go. Nice play. He was good. He was very kind. These people, even Democrats, are going to vote for him. There's no doubt. Here is Tom Cotton, though, making the point from yesterday. This is cut 22. And Tom Cotton was a great force yesterday in the middle of this with these banshee Democrats like Gillibrand of making the point that there are physical things that go on in combat that you just can't change. And not in a combat zone, but actually frontline combat. And making the point that women have to show they would do the same things as men, and in many instances they can't. Here's what Cotton said.
How dare you ask those easy layup questions, Senator?
Well, Steve, what I think Senator Gillibrand is upset about is that I was distinguishing carefully in an area where people often get confused. When they talk about women in combat, That's too broad. Women have been in combat for many years as pilots or mechanics or what have you. We're talking specifically about women in ground combat jobs like the infantry, the artillery, special forces. Those have irreducible physical demands. There's nothing that Pete Hegseth or Kirsten Gillibrand or I can do to make an artillery shell weigh less than 100 pounds, or a tank round weigh less than 50 pounds, or a fully grown soldier with full combat load weigh less than usually 250, even 300 pounds. We have to have high and gender neutral standards to ensure that our troops are going to be safe and they're going to be fit to fight. But the Democrats would rather impose quotas or goals to make sure we have an arbitrary number of women or other ideals in our infantry, our artillery, our special forces, as opposed to focusing on fighting effectiveness. That's what I laid out. That's what Pete Hegseth will do as Secretary of Defense. I thought he did a great job. I know you're proud of him as a former colleague, and as a friend, I commend him for a great job.
Yeah, that's what it was about. They try to muddy. It's not even they're trying. They just can't think, people like Gillibrand. It's not even politics. It's incompetency. We're not talking, as he said, about women in a combat zone. We're talking about the things, can they do that? And the answer is probably not, almost likely very, very few numbers. Those that want to do that should be able to do it, but they have to do the same things. Why is that so difficult? Because it's about ideology. One other thing about men and women. So yesterday, the House passed. We're trying to get Riley Gaines back on. They passed a bill that would stop boys in women's sports, or men in women's sports. And the Gold Dust twins, the three blondies of the suburbs here, all voted against it. Now, here's some of the things they're trying to use now. Mary Gay Scanlon said to the Delaware Valley Journal, well, this is discriminatory, what was passed yesterday. 2 Democrats voted for it, both from Texas, I believe. She tried to say, well, this will ban kids from playing in the 2nd and 3rd grade, pickup games or whatever, co-ed things and all. No, it's not, lady. Learn your sports. It has nothing to do with that. Do I think she knows that? I don't even think she knows that. I mean, it's ideology, but incompetency here. The Houlihan went much further. Remember last week on Lake and Riley, the constitutional scholar, Chrissy Houlihan? Well, she said she tried to make a states' rights argument. Shouldn't the states be doing this? Scanlon also said, you know what's going to be resulting here? You're going to have kids have to drop their drawers, my word, she didn't quite say that, and let people see their biological nature. Yeah, that's what she said we're going to be doing under this. Kids all over America. All right, let me see what you have there. Who's going to be doing that? That's what Mary Gay Scanlon worried about. Now, these are the people that tell us, why are we so interested in us? The question is, why are you so interested in this? If you would just stop this nonsense, then we'd move on to the economy and everything else. You're the ones that are doing this. But imagine Houlihan, states' rights now. Scanlon, little girls and boys are not going to be able to play at recess or something now based on this. It's not about that. We all know what this is about. And they just refuse. And look, we talked with Guy Shiraki and others about this. Why out in Chester, Delaware, Montgomery County, why do people continue to vote for them? Does the average person out there in the suburbs think that what they're saying isn't gibberish? Guy made the point, it's demeanor. All they want in the suburbs is some kind of demeanor, and everybody, we just all want to get along. Fine. Just play in your sport. Just play on your side, and everything is fine. All right, let me give you the side question. Yesterday, we spent some time talking about this, about Sully, the pilot. It was this day in history that landed on the Hudson. Now, it's not just the skill to land on the Hudson. I'm not sure how frozen or not frozen it was. I gave a quick look to the river coming in, and I did see some degree of icing, but still a lot of water. You know, I don't think he thought, oh, that looks frozen, I can do it. It still looked like water. The skill to do it is almost secondary. It's the boldness of saying, I'm not going to make it to the airport. I'm not going to kid myself. Well, that's got to be really tough in a nanosecond. I'm going to land on the Hudson. So we are looking for an all-time great feat. And when Henry, Dan, and I talked about this yesterday, I said my number one's got to be, and you don't have to stick away from sports. impossible. Sports are okay, but what's the name of the film? Man on a Wire.
Oh, yeah.
It's a documentary. I'm not sure if it's a full hour. But the guy who walked between the Twin Towers because he was a rogue.
Philippe Petit.
Yeah, a French guy. And they had 100,000 people in the street. I've read somewhere he was up there for an hour. That can't possibly. I'm teetering, going back and forth. Give me a poll to do it here on YouTube. Just thinking about it. I couldn't look at this guy. Can you guys look up at him and you go, no, I don't want to see this?
Oh, I could look at him.
You could look at him?
Yeah, totally.
Oh, man. Dan, how about you?
Sorry, what was the question?
Can you look at this guy? Would you give a glance and say, I don't want to see anymore?
Yeah, I think
Just
so.
the thought of it.
My palms would get sweaty, like watching him. I'd get all clammy and be like, oh, boy, but I could watch.
Yeah.
And they had to rig it up, the wire between the buildings. So this wasn't like a sanctioned.
Like, I get physically nauseous when I see that kind of stuff.
I do too.
Yeah. Like,
I went to the top of the Empire State Building. I looked out for 10 seconds, pretended to row. Oh, that looks great. And then I just went to the back, let DJ and Luke and Row look at it because it was too much. You know, and you're safe. You know, nothing can happen. You're fine. But no, I don't want to see that. And he was up there for an hour, 100,000 people in the streets. I guess they gave him a misdemeanor after a while. He's up in the clouds between the Twin Towers. That is stunning. And he did it. I don't know how wide that thing. It can't be. The wind. Just alone.
yeah, no, and it's bouncing and.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, no.
I don't know if there were any
gross.
close calls. My stomach just thought of close call. What do you do there? You can't do that for an hour. We have to look that up. That's what I read, though, that he was up there that long. A minute is an eternity.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All right, so, Henry, how about your feet?
Yeah, so I'll take 2 off the board. I will take the fact that we have found our place in the universe as humans, just floating on a rock. I think that, as a human feat, is absolutely phenomenal. I mean, we were able to look out into galaxies, super clusters of galaxies.
Well, what are you mocking there for, Dan?
Yeah,
we'll see when we
what's
come
wrong
to
with
yours.
that?
I'm going to join in mockery here.
And I have a fun
I'm
one,
going to take
too.
humans everywhere as feet. What are you,
No,
People
all right,
Magazine?
fine,
Putting
fine.
you out there as a person of the
Helene
year?
Courtois, who helped, figure this stuff out. There's a name for you. Is that satisfying?
What's the name?
Helene Courtois.
Helene Courtois.
Yeah,
Sounds
French.
made up to me, Dan. You're on
Anyway,
him here. Yes.
Anywho,
Yeah.
What'd she do?
Yeah.
She was part of the team that discovered the supercluster of galaxies that contained the Milky Way.
All right, then.
So
Dan.
let me get my other one out.
Yeah,
here.
okay.
The other one that's more
Neil
like
deGrasse Tyson.
Yes,
What's your second one?
yeah.
would be the legendary Wade Boggs. This story was made famous by or at least the urban legend was made famous by an It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia episode where the gang tries to beat Boggs. And what they mean by that is that they try to drink a record 107 beers in a cross-country flight from Boston to Seattle, which Wade Boggs allegedly did back in the during his playing career.
Now, he traveled with a woman, not his wife, all the time, and he ate chicken every single day.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. Whole roasted
And he
chicken.
played third base, a power position, but he was such a good hitter that they let him get away with it.
Yeah,
and he
3,000
rode the
hits.
horse with the cop when they won. So there you go. Dan, you can't top that. Milky Way and Wade
Well,
Boggs.
I can test. I can top it with one word, Dom,
Yes.
and I think you'll know exactly where I'm going with it. Rasputin.
Ooh.
Okay.
What a guy that can survive that many assassination attempts. What was he? Knife attacks, poisoned, shot, drowned, and still decided to live. Yeah, it's like a survival story there. But another one, Dom, comes from the Guinness Book of World Records because growing up, I had one of those books, and I always had to skip certain pages because one person in particular really scared me, Dom. And this is guy that I just his name's Sridhar Chalal from India. And starting in 1952, he embarked on a journey after an incident with one of his teachers. His friends had accidentally broken the teacher's long fingernail, resulting in Sridhar and his friend receiving a beating from the teacher. During the beating, the teacher said, "Unless you grow long nails, you will never understand the kind of care required not to break them." Then for 66 years... Sridhar did not cut his nails, and they got all gross and twirly, and at one point, 358 inches long were one of his fingernails.
Oh.
Ended up cutting them off in 2018, Dom, but I'm submitting Sridhar Chalal as my feat of human ingenuity something with his enormous fingernails.
For people on YouTube, I don't bite my nails, but I must have to cut these. I would actually like to have a guy cut them every day, or a woman. Preferably.
Every day.
What are you?
Oh, yeah. I can't stand any kind of nail itch.
All right, Klobuchar.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, well, he's gripping a football with
I need a little
nails. Does not good.
Yeah, I need a little something. I don't know.
It's very minimal. That's about the standard.
Yeah,
It's minimal. Minimalist. All right, you can get in here at 855-839-1210. Those are pretty good. I thought mine was, but a guy with the nails and the Milky Way. Hit us with that. We're going to talk at 12:30 with the guy who's running against Larry Krasner. Maybe Krasner won't run now. We'll talk with Alan West, and we'll talk with the great Scott Jennings at 2 o'clock. 855-839-1210.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
Are you prepared for an emergency or disaster? Because it's not a matter of if, but when. Don't find yourself saying,
I'll trust water bottles and a flashlight to save the day, but I'll be proved wrong.
With a tornado approaching, I'll realize that I lack a wheelchair-accessible shelter.
When the floodwaters rise, I'll be up in the attic with 20 cans of beans. It's a recipe for disaster.
Let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/older adults. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
This is Larry Steinhaus with Investor Schooling. Are you ready for retirement? Have you prepared everything you need? Well, in Investor Schooling, we will teach you ways to better prepare for your retirement using real estate and the stock market. But you need to learn how to do it right, and that's what we teach. At Investor Schooling, we sell nothing but education. Come to Investor Schooling and learn how to have a better retirement. Go to investorschooling.com and RSVP right now for this Thursday's class at 7 o'clock. Go to investorschooling.com. That's investorschooling.com. This is Larry Steinhaus with Investor Schooling. Are you tired of hearing about the recession that's coming? Are you prepared for it? Well, listen, at investorschooling.com, we're going to teach you ways to prepare for the recession that you didn't even know existed. We're going to teach you strategies on how to use real estate. We're going to teach you strategies how to use the stock market properly. That's right, you can even make money in the stock market when the stock market goes down. Hey, go to investorschooling.com and register for a free class this Thursday night, and you will learn all of these techniques. Go to investorschooling.com right now, RSVP for this Thursday. We'll see you there.
New year, new ride. Start off the new year with Hessert Chevrolet of Cherry Hill, formerly Mall Chevrolet. Get fantastic finance and lease offers on a wide selection of new models. Whether you're looking to lease or finance, we have great deals to help you drive into the new year in style. Hessert Chevy of Cherry Hill offers one of the largest inventories in the area. For over 40 years, the Hessert family has been a trusted part of this community. Together, let's drive. Visit HessertChevyCH.com.
Hessert Chevrolet!
As a business owner, you wear a lot of hats. One minute you're ordering today's inventory, and the next you're planning tomorrow's expansion. It's complicated, but your business credit card should be simple. With the Signify Business Cash Card by Wells Fargo, you earn unlimited 2% cash rewards on purchases for your business, with no caps or categories to track. Signify Business Cash, the deliberately simple business credit card. Learn more at wellsfargo.com/signify. Terms apply.
Now the party is over. Are you left thinking, will the new year bring new opportunities? Or just the same old questions? Familiar patterns? Missed opportunities? At California Psychics, we can help you start the new year with your sights firmly on new horizons. Whatever your goals and unique life situation, our psychics will surprise you with their ability to offer unique insight that'll help you move forward. We only connect you with the very best. It's why 98% of the psychics who apply to work with us don't make the grade. And why we can guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. Download the app or connect with us at CaliforniaPsychics.com. Right now, new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. A new you awaits. Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Free speech in Philly on Odyssey's #1 talk station. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
All right, we need a bigger sounder here. We need a huger one. Dan just telling me, and our buddy Steve Feldman with us, that Israel and Hamas have reached a hostage and ceasefire deal. We're getting details as we speak. I know Steve will not be political about this, but I will be in a moment. Just so you know, there is a political part to this, in addition to a what exactly is going to happen here part. People are joyous in Israel, but what are the details? Let's go to Steve Feldman, Executive Director of the Zionist Organization of America's Greater Philadelphia chapter. On the surface, Steve, this is very good news. What do you think at this point?
Well, Dom, I'm sorry. Thank you very much for having me on to talk about this breaking news. I am not happy about this, and the Zionist Organization of America is not happy about this. Now, while we don't know really any of the details, there's been a lot of reports and a lot of leaks and a lot of rumors as to what is and is not in the deal. It is a dark day that Hamas is not defeated, that not all of those it is holding captive are being released, and that there is a ceasefire imposed on Israel before Israel is allowed to destroy Hamas, which is has not only slaughtered and held captive Israelis. I will remind your audience, it has slaughtered and held captive Americans.
Sure. Now, Steve, one point here. Let's go back, kind of bury the lead a little bit. Not all are to be released. Who's released and who's not?
It's unclear. There have been reports of anywhere from 3 people the first day to up to 30 people through the various steps in this process. There's been talk and rumors of there being phases, up to 3 phases. Some Israeli captives will be freed. And it's important to remind your audience, and I'm sure you've mentioned this, but just to hammer it home, the people that Hamas has been holding are innocent civilians. The people that Israel is being forced to release in exchange for those innocent civilians are cold-blooded murderers and terrorists.
Steve, hold on a second. Dan is seeing that it's 33 that will be released out of 98 hostages. 23
over time, not in one shot.
Right, 23 alive and 10 dead, which again gets to the and I get it, people being happy on this, but I take your point that we never want to stop until every single one of them is killed, and others are deterred by that. That's the only way to deal with people that can't be dealt with.
Look, it is a joyous day for those who will be freed and their families who've been tormented for more than 15 months. But it places not only every other Israeli, but every decent person in the world at risk when murderers and terrorists and savages know that they're ultimately going to get what they want in exchange for taking people captive and murdering people. It sends a terrible message. I mean, we can only imagine circumstances in the United States when there are hostages taken at a bank robbery or some other situation here. Not negotiating with terrorists is a principle that unfortunately has been violated, and certainly not acceding to their demands, because it only encourages more of the same, and everybody knows that. And unfortunately, emotion has gotten involved here, and it's divided Israel. It's caused friction between the United States and Israel, 2 important allies in the war against terrorism, as it's called. And so it is a day of mixed feelings, but in principle, to keep Israel from being able to defeat not only Hamas, the Palestinian Authority is equally bad, has committed other savagery. We dare not forget. So overall, while it's joyous for those who will be freed and reunited with their families, it really is a dark day for civilization, I believe.
Yeah, and I get, and the media, I'm watching Fox now, but some of the media are going to show the joy in Israel as if it's completely widespread. I'm sure, to your point, there are people, feeling some degree of relief, but there are others in Israel who have supported Netanyahu, supported what he's done, and after the initial burst, they will realize what you and I are talking about. The mission is still to stop these people, and there's only one way to do that.
Look, we don't know what pressure was put on. I posted on Facebook in my own personal space there, wondering, why this deal was being pressed now as opposed to 12:01 p.m. January 21st. What has made this come about now versus then? We don't know. We may find out in the future, but there are more questions than answers right now. And look, it is my hope and ZOA's hope that Hamas has been taught such a painful lesson that they will be kept in check, at least from doing anything like this again. I remind your listeners that Palestinian Arabs in Gaza are still firing rockets into Israel at Israeli civilian populations. That is still happening. Accusations of Israel being ruthless and merciless clearly are not true. Almost 900 Israeli soldiers have been killed in action and thousands more wounded because Israel has been trying to minimize casualties in the Gaza Strip. So a lot of what's not being reported is out there, but there certainly are mixed feelings and should be mixed feelings about this deal. And, of course, we don't know all the details yet.
Steve, thank you. And, again, I hear a little bit in the voice, pineapple juice, if you have to cut it for if you're doing a lot of interviews. I'm serious. Water that down. I told Tamala Everett the other day, if you saw her this morning, back like new. It works every time.
I'll give it a whirl. Thank you, Dr.
Steve,
Dom. And let me just give out our email address.
Yeah, one thing,
office.
too. If anything comes up that you want to come back on after we catch our breath with this later in the show, you have carte blanche. We'd love to hear from you.
Thank you. It's very, very kind of you. Thank you. And our email is the word office@zoaphilly.org. And our website is philly.zoa.org. And nationally, for those outside of our area, email is the word info@zoa.org. And the website is zoa.org. And I thank you, and I thank Dan for reaching out to me. Be well, you and your audience.
Thank you, Steve. Steve Feldman. We're going to roll right into this next interview because we have more high hopes here in Philadelphia. Judge Patrick Dugan, longstanding judge, person on the front line, got the endorsement yesterday and announced to run for DA. In a lot of ways, the mayor affects us, but you know what Krasner has done or not done here, and he has the backing of the building trades. Let's go to Judge, former, but where's Jimmy Matthews? He's always going to be judge in the future. Got that, Jimmy? Just like President Trump, it's Judge Patrick Dugan here on Talk Radio 1210. Hey, Judge, welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us.
Tom, I appreciate you having me as a guest today. Thank you.
Well, you come at a fortuitous time with this news out of Israel, and I would say we hope to be liberated in Philadelphia, the Philadelphia area, by a new DA, and principally you're the leading contender. So, Judge, I asked you a question a little bit outside the box, then we'll get your background for listeners, et cetera, and how you came to this. Why in the world run against a guy who many forces in Philadelphia would have us believe is impossible to beat because he has money backing and some people in Philadelphia are thrilled by his philosophy. So, Judge, why run at this point?
Dom, I quit my job that I absolutely love. I've had a front row seat in the criminal justice system for the last 17 years, and for the last 7 years, I've had that front row seat with Mr. Krasner as the DA. And I cannot sit back quietly anymore as a lifelong Philadelphian, as a paratrooper, as a man who's willing to step up when times are tough. Somebody has to take him on. And what everybody has to understand is I quit a job, seriously, that I love so much. I'm taking on a 2-term incumbent, as you said, with a ton of money. But it's something that I had to do because somebody has to step up and, frankly, stop the madness that's been coming out of that office for too many years.
Absolutely. Little thing, and you said this, I just wanted to reinforce. You talked about, we all know about the homicide. We all know about the philosophy. We all know about the arrogance, et cetera, Judge. But you said the word that I could tell you with our listeners we noticed, shoplifting. Just allowing that to go on, giving carte blanche to that. It's not even what it leads to. It is just the epitome of the madness that you talked about.
So, Dom, what's more Philadelphian, other than the birds, the Eagles, what's more Philadelphian than Wawa?
Mm-hmm.
We can't keep a Wawa open in parts of Philadelphia because of the policy that came out of the district attorney's office, and that's where it came out of. The district attorney's office decided to give everybody a freebie for $499 and below, and it was prevalent. The police department's own statistics show after that policy, retail theft incidents that are reported, which I believe they're super underreported, went up over 132%. Our Wawas are closing. Rite Aid's talking about it. Walgreens. Look what happened in Macy's. I don't really care what the boards or the CEOs of these companies are saying about why they're closing, because they got to be politically correct. Yeah, there's other things going on, people doing shopping online, all that good stuff. But the bottom line is the retail thefts are through the roof, and these folks cannot sustain a business in Philadelphia because of the policies that come out of the DA's office. It's ludicrous. You're standing in line in a Wawa to get your big soft drink or your coffee and some tasty cake, and you got people coming in with backpacks, filling them up while you're trying to pay. It's crazy. It is ludicrous, and just that alone should be enough to say we need to change. We need to change what's going on in that office. It makes no sense to me.
And Patrick, read the other day, or a couple people told me, colleagues on a show that I do, that they read this, that not just you, but other people that are Democrats in good standing, more traditional than the craziness of Krasner and the progressives that think this is all fun and games. They've had it finally. The building trades, you know politics better than I. I'm not run for office or been a judge like you, but where I'm sitting, the building trades are who I would want endorsing because they're the pulse. They're the hot thing in Philadelphia right now.
Absolutely. Having the building trade sends a huge message throughout the city of Philadelphia. Ryan Boyer is the head, head of the building trades, the head of the laborers, Wayne Miller of the sprinkler fitters, Billy Hamilton with the Teamsters. These folks are rock solid behind me. And I can't ask for a better endorsement than this group because they obviously bring the intangibles. They bring money. They bring their memberships. They bring people on the street. Mark Lynch from 98. These guys are all rock solid behind me. And they're rock solid behind me because they know what I've been doing as a judge, but they also know what the district attorney has not been doing, frankly, for the business that they're in terms of where they're building. They have jobs. People are breaking in their trucks. There's no prosecution. But many of their members live in our city. They come into the city to eat, and they don't feel safe. So it was actually an easy sell when I talked to them because, yes, the feeling that I'm seeing out on the street already in less than 30 days is that people are truly fed up with Mr. Krasner. And as you touched on it, your listeners have to understand, this is the Democratic primary. This is not the general election. In my opinion, the only way to beat Mr. Krasner is to take him on in the primary.
Yeah,
so, yes, I'm running as a Democrat against Mr. Krasner, a two-term incumbent. And, again, I feel it has to be a mission that somebody has to take on, and I'm taking it on.
Yeah, Hamilton, we've had on the show, and even though we differ politically a little bit, what a guy. Really, really good guy. He's come on, and, even when we differ, it's very good. You got a guy like that behind you. It tells it the time is up. So, Judge, you mentioned you were a paratrooper. Talk about that a little bit, the military background.
So, yeah, I wound up doing 23 years in the military between the reserves and active duty. I was an airborne infantryman in the 1980s. Did 6 years, South Korea, Panama, Fort Bragg, now Camp Liberty. And, when I got out of the military, I used my veterans benefits to go to law school, Rutgers Camden. After 9/11, Dom, again, I couldn't sit back and watch what happened. I went back in the reserves. I went to Iraq in 2004 with a civil affairs unit. And then I eventually I had a law degree at the time, so I wound up getting a direct commission and becoming a JAG officer. I deployed to Afghanistan as well. So I retired in 2016, but it's been my biggest honor to serve the United States of America. And that oath that I took has no end date. It's forever, and it's the same way I feel about the oath that I took as a judge. And I wish that our district attorney took his oath as serious as I take my oath.
Judge, how are you going to blunt people like the Inquirer, who I think are still in love with Krasner, saying, well, look at the homicide numbers. Those have gone down. What's the rebuttal to that?
Well, it's great to see the numbers go down, but frankly, one, it's too many. And if we look at the last 7 years, when you add up all the murders in the city of Philadelphia, it's over 2,900 in the last 7 years. Actual shootings where people were wounded is just shy of 10,000. So if we talked about 2,900 killed in action and 10,000 wounded in action, we'd be saying we got to pull out of that war. Well, that's what's been going on in the city. And I cannot give Mr. Krasner credit for this, because one of the policies that is effective is called the GVI, the Gun Violence Intervention. And they had to drag him kicking and screaming to really be a participant in that. Most people involved in that are not going to admit that. I can't give him any credit for the decline in homicides, because sociologists, criminologists will tell you there were 10 other factors. It's a pendulum. It's attrition. It's other reasons. And I don't see any of his policies that actually contributed to it.
No, I don't either. So, Judge, where do people find you at this point as we start to gear up?
Well, they can find me online. I'm at Judge Dugan for DA, judgeduganforda.com. So those folks who live in the suburbs, you might not be able to vote on May 20th, but you can certainly get on there, spread the word, call your friends in Philly, make a donation, whether it's $10 or the maximum limit of $3,700. But I need people to make sure on May 20th, put it in your calendar to come and vote if you want to make a change in this city. And this will be a big sea change to come out May 20th, help contribute, and let's make that change in the district attorney's office and vote for Pat Dugan, Dugan.
Hey, Judge, thank you. Thanks for doing what you're doing. Anytime you're in the loop now, we'd love to have you on.
Thank you. Everybody have a good day, and go Birds.
All right, Judge Patrick Dugan. Yeah, can you imagine Krasner coming on saying, go Birds? What the hell? Come on. He's got the dumb Phillies hat on and saying it's safe to ride the subway because he's got 5,000.
Yeah, right. Trying to be a poser like he's actually a Philadelphia sports fan.
Larry, was that
Dugan's a true fan over here.
Oh, yeah. I'd love to ask Krasner a few questions on that. All right. So, look, this guy is a real contender here. This is a real race this time. Very glad he came on today. The breaking news, Israel and Hamas reach a hostage and ceasefire deal. You heard Steve Feldman, though. And again, Biden tonight is going to wreck programming and be on at 8 o'clock to give us his legacy. And he's going to go down Broadway telling us it's because of Biden. No, it's not. It's not about that at all. It's much more about Trump and what Trump is threatening, Trump's policies, et cetera. But to Dan's point, the numbers he gave us, it's only 33 out of 98 hostages, 23 alive and 10 dead. They still have the lion's share of them. And this stops Israelis at this point from continuing what they must do to try to kill every single last one of them and to tell others, you fall in line with this, we're going to kill you too. That's all that it's about. I'm completely in lockstep. And when I went to Israel with listeners, I became more in lockstep, if that's possible. It's going to be interesting to see how Democrats spin this now. What kind? Well, I know exactly where they'll go. They'll be blaming Israel. That's where the National Democrat Party is gone. All right, so it's 855-839-1210. You can get in. Tell me what you think of Judge Dugan. As I said, I think this is a real battle that's going to be fought this time. And notice, I listen to listeners. Homicide, your eyes dull over. You have to get through what Krasner has wrought here. But the shoplifting, just blatantly letting people do this, and he did it. How many times do we have to be through it? It's his ideology. It's what he's about. It's what he's always been about. And that's what the mob around him wants. They love the experiment of this. It would help if Wawa just said in this race, you know what, we're leaving the city because of Krasner. That's all they have to say, one sentence. That would be helpful. 855-839-1210. You get in. AT&T and Verizon Wireless, all you have to do is just push pound 1210. Don't forget. Side question today. Hit us with that all-time feat, like the Man on the Wire, the Milky Way. I'm going through these in my mind. The long fingernail guy. Hit us with something that you think is a human feat. Sully landing on the river, having the ability to say, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. That's what you got to. I can't imagine that last 100 yards, couple 100 yards as he's headed toward the river. What the heck he's thinking? Oh, I got this. This is going to be easier than I thought.
How about a lawn chair Larry? That was suggested on Twitter to us, Tom.
Lawn chair Larry.
Yeah, Larry Walters often dreamed of flying, wasn't able to become a pilot in the United States Air Force because of poor eyesight, therefore became a truck driver, thought of using weather balloons to fly at the age of 13 after seeing them hanging from the ceiling of a military surplus store, then hops into straps himself into a chair with 42 helium-filled weather balloons and takes flight for a 45-minute flight, Tom.
Oh, man. Should have taken a Barco Lounger. All right, 855-839. That's a feat, no doubt. Hit us with that all-time human feat. All right, I have an important question to ask everyone. Are you planning to sell your home in 2025? The housing market is changing fast. It's not what it used to be. My friend Diane Giordano from Giordano Realtors wants to help you stay ahead of this shifting real estate market, increase the value of your home. Put this in your calendar. Diane is hosting it's a great breakfast seminar on Saturday morning, February 1st at the Hilton Garden Inn in Fort Washington. She'll show you how to tackle today's uncertain market with rising inventory, fluctuating interest rates, low-cost ways to stage your home, lots of other insights. I'll be there with you. We haven't done this in a while. These are always great events. Great time to meet all of you and get Diane's advice. Plus, she'll be signing copies of her new book, Model Home Mindset. You don't want to wing it when selling your home. Diane Giordano does all the homework, gets your home sold for top dollar. Don't miss out now. RSVP, call 215-576-8666 or online, the same thing. It's free, 215-576-8666.com. I'll see you on February 1st.
The election is over and a new pro-business administration's about to begin. At Swish Funding, we're ready to help America's small businesses thrive in 25. Whether it's for cash flow, expansion, or new equipment, Swish Funding has flexible funding options from $25,000 up to $2 million. You could get a decision in minutes and cash in your account in as little as 24 hours. With rates as low as 8%. To qualify, be in business at least 1 year with monthly revenue of at least $50,000. Apply today at swishfunding.com. SWISH
Helping your inner circle prepare for emergencies can start in many ways. Put together an emergency kit with WIPEWALL. Create a family communication plan with your tita. Remind Bai to keep a backup battery charged. It all starts with a simple step, telling those you care about to be ready for the worst. So start a conversation and plan for emergencies together. Get more tips at ready.gov/start. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
By registering for the next Crash Proof Retirement educational event, you'll see real statements from Crash Proof Retirement clients documenting how the exclusive Crash Proof Retirement system credits double-digit interest returns, even during the worst of recent stock market downturns.
Rob Lukens, Birdsboro, Pennsylvania. During COVID, when everything was going down in the stock market, we saw our investment with Crash Proof grow 15%, which was unheard of. Markets weren't growing that way. The interest we made through Crash Proof's investments, we keep it. We don't lose anything. We keep every penny that we invested. The worst that's going to happen is you keep your money. Crash Proof gives me great peace of mind. And I would recommend anybody who sees this or hears this to give Crash Proof a call. Pick the phone up, call. It's simple.
Schedule an appointment or register for our next event at the Copperfield Inn on January 22nd. 800-722-9728 or crashproofretirement.com.
Deborah Heart and Lung Center and Cleveland Clinic Heart Vascular and Thoracic Institute have formed a powerful alliance. Legends in Caregiving New Jersey families, the most sophisticated heart team in America. Innovators in research and patient care who've made life better for thousands of patients, raising the standard for the next generation of care. The alliance between Deborah Heart and Lung Center and Cleveland Clinic Heart Vascular and Thoracic Institute means the highest quality care close to home for you. DemandDeborah.org.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash, and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
That's awful, hon.
My brother was saying he got life insurance from Ethos. With Ethos, it only took 10 minutes, and he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online. No medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
Sample rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
Chronic pain, cancer, fatigue. Find out about the benefits of medical hydration therapy on Health Watch with Dr. Molly Fantasia every Sunday morning at 8 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Hey, Joe DeCamera here. Isn't it time to invest in yourself? Well, how about this? Start a PI Dental Center with decades of experience in complex dental treatment, and I've been a patient of PI Dental for 20 years. Dr. Glenn Wolfinger and Dr. Robert Slough, they're board-certified prosthodontists. They specialize in the restoration and replacement of teeth, and PI Dental Center are the originators of the teeth in a day. It's a revolutionary treatment that delivers fixed teeth and implants placed for a dramatic transformation in a mere one day. So visit PIDentalCenter.com. That's PIDentalCenter.com to request your new patient evaluation.
Do you think that banking is boring? At PNC, we know that meeting the banking needs of the community is anything but boring. That's why PNC Bank geared up this year and introduced the mobile branch across the region to bring banking services to underserved neighborhoods. And long before that, PNC Community Development Banking was leading the way in investing in the economic health of our neighborhoods. To see the brilliant results that boring banking can deliver for you, stop into any PNC branch right here in the greater Philadelphia community. PNC Bank, brilliantly boring since 1865. PNC Bank, National Association, member FDIC.
Have you subscribed to our YouTube channel yet? Do it today at 1210 WPHT.
All right, Dom Giordano Show. Hit us with that all-time human feat. The Israel news with the hostage ceasefire did make its way into the Rubio questioning today. And Rubio said it's a point of emphasis. We're going to rescue Americans around the world. We're not going to give up, and you're going to pay a heavy price. Biden tonight is going to tell us it's all due to his diplomacy. That's what this has always been about, yada, yada, yada. You heard Steve Feldman. And again, I don't remember anything quite like October 7th. Yeah, atrocities happen in war all the time, but the atrocities that these animals were involved in, they did it as their angle of attack. In other words, this is what their force was about, to rape, torture, do unimaginable things to men, women, and children and families. That's what they wanted to do. That's who they're about. And the National Democrat Party, large segments of it, and college campuses, they support this. Remember how many were putting on their Twitter or the hang gliders? Oh, look at the hang gliders. Look at the genius of coming over and doing that. And even now, 33, we believe, 23 alive, 10 dead, will be released out of the 98 hostages. They have to be exterminated, Hamas. That's the only thing that will stop it. And when others take their place, you do the same thing to them. And you hope that someday the message gets through. That's surely what's going to happen to you. And you dissuade enough. They were given Gaza, and look at what they did with it. Trump tweeting out peace through strength. He talks about on Truth Social how his people have been involved with this, pushing this. And a lot of it is a result of what he will do when in office and what he did in the Middle East before. The contrast is stark. Of course, the media will spin it toward Biden knowing how to get things done. Oh, my God. Let's go to Joe in Columbus, New Jersey. Joe is in on Talk Radio 1210. Hello, Joe.
Hey, Dom, are we going to be able to collectively stomach those Biden pats on the back when the media hits with this?
Well, yeah, but I think that the evidence will start to come out, and you'll see it more and more, particularly on this. I'm not sure. We're still trying to figure out why they did it today, why they didn't wait.
Right.
You know, we don't know. Steve Feldman saying, what did the Biden administration threaten with potentially to Israel to accept this?
These ceasefires in the Middle East, they're only temporary. It's only a question of time. And they know Trump. They're in Trump's sights. So this is as temporary as any other ceasefire that comes out of that area.
Oh, yeah. Well, without a doubt. And again, it's only 33 out of the 98. So even on this, it's not getting them out. So,
Right.
Joe, what's your human feat, Joe?
Well, I think it was Apollo 13. It was in the right stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And that lunar module had a problem with its heat shields, and they did some kind of, unexpected maneuvers to stop that thing from burning up on reentry.
Oh, yeah. Well, failure's not an option, how they reconfigured it.
And they kept their cool.
Yeah, I don't know if Ed Harris won the award as Best Supporting Actor. I think he might have for that. But the role he played, I want to believe, once upon a time, that's what NASA was about. Now, today, I don't have much faith in them. But back then, yeah.
Well, yeah. They were crafted in a whole different way back then, Dom.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good one, Joe. Yeah, how they got them back. And if you haven't seen the film, Tom Hanks recalling how he would get home to an aircraft carrier. It's very, very moving. Kevin Bacon, very good. Hey, Kevin, your boy might be going down, though. You coming to Philadelphia to pitch for him? Come on the show. We'll talk about how you love Larry Krasner, the excitement, the change. All right, coming up. What a day to have Colonel Alan West on. We'll get his sense. Here's a couple of details from Trey Yingst, the great guy who's in the war zone for Fox.
Apparently he's talking with firsthand sources that were in the negotiations.
Okay, let's hear what he had to say, Dan.
I want to just read to you what this source just sent. Quote, Gaza ceasefire and hostage release deal reached following the Qataris' meeting with Hamas negotiators for a final push following last-minute additions by the group. There were some reports that indicated Hamas officials were trying to push the Israelis to change their position about a key corridor that sits along the Gaza-Egypt border called the Philadelphia Corridor. Now, I am told that the Qatari Prime Minister himself was in the negotiating room and pushed these Hamas officials to accept the agreement on the table. What we are looking at here that will be signed tonight, a ceasefire deal between Israel and Hamas that will implement a pause in fighting between the two sides for 42 days. This is a 6-week agreement that will ultimately see 33 hostages released from Hamas captivity in Gaza. We are told by a number of sources some of those hostages were killed and their bodies will be returned to Israel, but at least 23 of them are believed to be alive.
All right, thank you, Dan, for that. Coming up, the great Colonel Alan B. West will break down the Hegseth testimony, what it's like to be in command, and what the colonel thinks about women in combat, direct combat. That's the line I'll use. All that and your calls on Talk Radio 1210.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for less. And for a limited time, new customers receive their second month free when they sign up and use promo code SECONDFREE by January 26th. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash, and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
That's awful, hon.
My brother was saying he got life insurance from Ethos. With Ethos, it only took 10 minutes, and he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online. No medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
Sample rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
There's a reason that potato chips don't come in a clear bag.
There's only 8 chips in this bag.
That's why. It's only about 2/3 full. The rest is air. It's a lot like opening up your 401k at retirement. You get about 2/3 of it, and the rest goes to Uncle Sam. Jim Cipriotti at the Retire Ready Financial Group can help. His tax mapping process can help forecast what your tax bill will be in the future, and that way you can build a strategy now to potentially decrease your tax bill in retirement. In other words, more for you and less for Uncle Sam. Call today for your complimentary retirement tax mapping report, 610-894-7415. That's 610-894-7415. Or find them online at retirereadyfg.com. And get Uncle Sam's greedy hands out of your retirement.
Hey, you've had enough.
With a complimentary tax mapping report from Jim Cipriotti. Investment advisory services offered through Retire Ready Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through James V. Cipriotti, Retire Ready Financial Group, LLC, NPN number 2083768.
When you need to know, depend on KYW News Radio 103.9 FM.
SEPTA says it's back on track and ready for Eagles fans after a flub in service last Sunday. High winds delay the final sail for the former USS John F. Kennedy aircraft out of the Navy Yard. Governor Phil Murphy is calling for extended paid paternal leave for state workers caring for newborn.
Get the latest anytime on KYW News Radio. Now on Crystal Clear 103.9 FM.
You've never needed us more.
This is Merrill Reese. When it comes to your roof, it's like football. Good planning is essential. That's why I've got a brand new gorgeous roof from Impriano Roofing. Jack Impriano and his 4 sons are a true family business, using only quality, certainteed roofing products, serving our area for 5 decades. Accountability plus. It's good to get a brand new roof from Impriano Roofing. Visit Impriano.com. That's Impriano.com. The best homes have an Impriano roof.
Wesley is a truck driver.
I drive a truck, and I love what I do.
A truck driver with IRS troubles.
They told me I owed them $43,000.
It got really bad.
Quite a few letters in the mail. They were talking about wage garnishment, coming after my house, my car. Yeah, they don't play around. I seriously thought that I was going to lose everything.
One sleepless night, Wesley finally made a call to Optima Tax Relief at 2 a.m.
Kind of figured I'd get a machine, but I didn't. I actually got to talk to an actual person in the middle of the night.
He found just what he was looking for.
Oh, they were great people. You need a team of people that know what they're doing. Optima Tax, they know what they're doing.
Optima Tax Relief came through with flying colors.
I saved an incredible amount of money. Happy don't even come close. I was absolutely overjoyed.
Take Wesley's advice.
If you're in any kind of trouble with the IRS, call Optima Tax Relief. Don't trust anybody else.
Call Optima for a free consultation. Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
The following heartwarming yet informative scene is brought to you by Trust and Will.
Son, your grandpa and I used to work on this car together, and when I'm gone, I want you to have it.
Wow. Thanks, Dad.
Doesn't count. What you need is a will. Luckily, Trust and Will makes it easy. Designed by attorneys, but customized by you, you can easily create a state-specific, legally valid document that actually counts. Now, let's hear this tiger purr, am I right? Start your will at trustandwill.com. Use offer code COUNT for 10% off and make it count. Trust and Will is an online estate planning service. For details, see trustandwill.com.
When you haven't found love, it can feel like everyone else has. It's in every movie, every song, and all the PDA. Looking for love sucks. Thankfully, California Psychics can give you the guidance you need to find the one. We guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. And new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com and experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
On Philadelphia's Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. Always live on the free Odyssey app. It's Dom time. Now, Dom Giordano.
Hey, that's right. It is Dom time. Welcome in. Always a good day when Colonel Alan B. West is in the house, but particularly today, here we have a guy who faced terrorists, as you know, in Iraq. And how do you deal with this? The hostage situation, still only 33 out of the 98. But I want to ask the Colonel, too, Rubio today testifying. The main force, brilliantly, he said, is China. And we're going to come to a point where China will tell us what we can do and not do, meaning with raw materials, medical supplies, and all the rest of it. That's the focus. We still haven't gotten that right. So, Dom Giordano's show, honored as always to bring you Colonel Alan B. West. Hey, Colonel, what a day. The stars aligning to talk with you today.
Oh, you're too kind. It's good to be back with you. I mean, twice in 1 week, it doesn't get any better.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Colonel. It's mutual. And the the timing, you're someone who's actually faced, and we've talked about this terrorist, and I think there are people that think you still can negotiate with them, et cetera. I think Israel got it, that the only thing you can do is try to diminish Hamas and its ongoing battle and deter others to say, do you want to die too? And you had a sense, too. It seems that the higher ups, we know they want to live. It's a cannon fodder at the lower levels that they entice to say we don't care about our life, the virgins and Allah and all the rest of it.
Yeah, it's interesting because when you think about the higher ups, as you put them, the leadership of like Hamas, they live quite well in Qatar. They're not there, sloughing through things in Hamas. And it was interesting that they did have the one leader from Hamas that they found and tracked him down and killed him with a drone strike. But you look at in the Hezbollah leader, Nasrallah, he was in a very, bunker well deep beneath the earth. And we come to find out all the treasures that he has stored up. So you cannot negotiate. You cannot deal with these people if you want to have any type of negotiation. It has to be unconditional surrender. It has to be that Hamas is disbanded. It is no longer in existence, and it can no longer be the governing authority in Gaza Strip because they are a terrorist organization. They are a terrorist organization whose charter calls for the destruction of the Jewish nation and all Jewish people worldwide. So how can you negotiate with people like that? So I think it's so important that we continue to have the moral high ground against them and continue to put pressure on them. But the good thing is President Trump is coming in. That means the pressure will go on Iran, which if you can cut off that support, that will go a long ways to degrading their effectiveness.
Colonel, your background, we've talked about it a lot, and I can understand why you get that. I think some of these Democrats are not malevolent, but they want the world not to be the way the world is. When I grew up in South Philly, there were people that were just hateful, antagonistic. They didn't like something about you. I didn't want to know when they were going to attack, the reasoning or whatever. I just wanted to be ready and make them believe, go and bother somebody else.
Yeah.
The Democrats at the national level cannot, some of it's ideology too. We know that they're hateful, anti-Semitic, but some of it is they refuse to accept the human condition that there are people you're not going to dissuade by any kind of reason, by giving them Gaza, by giving them two states. It doesn't matter. They've said what they want. They don't want the Jewish people there.
Yeah, and let's think about it. This goes all the way back to 1948, even, 46, 47. You created Jordan. You created many of these other countries. Right. Egypt got its independence. Who are the people that said that we don't want an independence? It was the Palestinian Arabs. I mean, they're Arab people. They're not a separate group of people. And throughout time, they have continued to say, no, the two-state solution does not meet our criteria. They want one thing. That's the eradication, the elimination, extermination of the Jewish nation and the Jewish people. A place the size of New Jersey. I mean, why does a place the size of New Jersey anger them so much when you got 57 Islamic nations in the whole world, but yet everyone gets upset about Israel? So this kumbaya moment that we think we can have with militant Islamic jihadists and terrorists, that's never going to come. The only thing they understand is strength and might, and that's why it's a good thing that we have President Trump returning back to the Oval Office. And if we're not careful with an open border, they will infiltrate and come into the country, which we have already seen as of January the 1st of this year, an ISIS-inspired terrorist.
Yeah, without a doubt. Now, one failing, I don't feel it in my heart of hearts. I felt it with Rubio today in the testimony for Secretary of State. He was very good on China and talking about this is the existential threat. Even at some point, they'll say you can't do this because medical supplies or the raw minerals they have or anything of that matter. I don't hear the Trump administration, quite the way that I see it, and I think that you see it. What's the best way to get into the mind of the Chinese, who are rational, I believe, in making calculation that we mean it? 100-year war, 100-year struggle, whatever it is, we see them for what they are.
Yeah, and I think that's the first proclamation that you have to make is that we see you for who you are. You're communist, you're China. And what China understood is that we did not defeat the Soviet Union militarily. We defeated them economically. And so, again, they realized they can accept free market global capitalism, but they can still retain themselves as a communist country. And then they can insert themselves, I'll be very honest, like a tick. into the global economy, and they are gorging themselves. And what do ticks do? They spread disease, Lyme disease, and that's what China is spreading, a disease throughout the country. So it's so important that we had this kumbaya moment, feeling that if we gave them most favored trade nation status, that would change their ideology, that would change their behavior. It did not. So now we need to look at how we can retract our supply chains out of China. We cannot be dependent upon cheap goods to come out of China anymore. We have got to go back and strengthen our economy, strengthen the American manufacturing base, look for other places. Vietnam. Vietnamese do not get along with the Chinese. That'd be a great place for us to have greater economic investment and growth. But we have got to first engage the Chinese economically, because what they're doing, they're taking those resources and they're putting toward building their maritime capability, which is a global hegemonic design.
Talking with Colonel Alan B. West, and, I admire the opponent. I see how tough this is. When the guy who's the current president of the Sixers, Morey, was leaving the Rockets, he just put in an email, free Hong Kong. And all hell broke loose. And you and I were lectured by LeBron James, by Charles Barkley, even shut up. We got a big deal with them. Something as simple as that, they retaliated by trying to take $1 billion away from the NBA and the future in China.
Well, the thing is, and Marco Rubio said it, and you just repeated it, we've got to get to the point where China doesn't tell us what we can and can't do.
Right.
But right now, they feel so emboldened. I mean, the fact that the Chinese are coming into our country and buying up land.
Exactly.
Here in Texas, of all places, Texas, a former member of the Chinese People's Army has bought up land next to the air base where we train our F-35 pilots. And in the Texas State House, they couldn't even pass legislation to preclude China from doing that. That shows you.
Well, let me ask you, Colonel, I'm sorry, but Arkansas did it. Is it the leadership? Huckabee did it. They did it pretty quickly, at least farmland and the rest of it. I'm surprised at Abbott and the other leaders there that they don't get this.
It was killed in the Texas State House by a gentleman by the name of Speaker Dave Phelan. And now we once again have one of his acolytes just won the Texas speakership of the House by going over and getting, I think, 49 or 50 Democrats to vote him in to be the speaker against the Republican majority. So it's just incredible what is happening in the Texas State House, and we continue to go down that path. But you're right, we are surrendering to China in ways that we should not, and hopefully we can turn that around, not just at the federal government level, but also, as you just articulated, states have to step up as well.
Yesterday, Pete Hegseth, I think, did very well. It helped that Gillibrand started it by being out of control and saying nonsense. And Elizabeth Warren is just such a foil if you're calm and just wait for it. And Mazie Hirono, it was a rogues gallery of all this. And now, I thought there was a legitimate thing with Pete. The hurdle he'd had with legitimate people would be, you've never headed something this big, anywhere near that. And his answer was going to be, yes, I'm not out of the cookie cutter mold. And a lot of me agrees with that. But then I might counter, this is huge. I thought he was going to say, but I'll have people, that are going to do X, Y, and Z. But fortunately, we never got to that because of the other nonsense. To your point, Tom Cotton was just brilliant in this, differentiating between, you did it the other day, being in a combat zone and actually being in direct line of fire in combat, what you have to do.
Yeah, and you forgot to add in Tammy Duckworth. The Democrats, they threw hand grenades all over themselves yesterday, and they really turned Pete Hegseth into a victim. But I will tell you that if Pete wants to really, do the right thing, he should take Mark Wayne Mullen out to dinner every single day for the rest of his life for what he did. He completely put the Democrats on the heel.
Yes.
But you're right. What you saw on the Republican side, they were talking about policies. They were talking about how do we improve the Defense Department. The Democrats went after him personally. And as you and I articulated and talked about, they were trying to make him toxic so that the Republicans would separate away from him. The only thing that I wish he, maybe had thought about was to agree with Joni Ernst that, yes, we'll continue to have, women in combat duty positions or roles. I mean, you got to stick to your guns on that because there is a difference. Like I said, we don't have men and women competing in figure skating or in downhill skiing, so we cannot say that there is equality when you have them on the battlefield. There isn't. And hopefully we'll get back to having the right type of standards, maybe that will preclude that from happening. But he's going to get confirmed. There's no doubt about it. And I think that all the Trump nominees will get confirmed. They're doing quite well. They're well prepared.
Parting question, your insight this. It seems to be some are even saying the Army Rangers might have a tinge of lowering standards. To my knowledge, the only one is the Navy SEALs that I would confidently say, you can't even try out for that. That's the 1% of 1% of 1%. Are the Rangers, do you think, still at that kind of level?
Yes, I do. Unfortunately, during the Obama administration, it was forced upon the Rangers to accept females into training there. Of course, I don't think that any of them are serving in Ranger battalions or in the Ranger regiment, but you actually had a 2-star Army general that was out walking patrol lanes during Ranger School where the females were there, and I think we know why that 2-star general was there, something that never happened before in Ranger School. So we just need to have the right type of standards. And when you think about Army Rangers, that's the creme de la creme of our light infantry forces. Those are really our strike forces. Pat Tillman, if you remember him, the football player, he joined and became an Army Ranger. So we got to get back to high standards. Green Beret, Delta Force, Rangers, Special Operations, Navy SEALs, Marine Force, Recon Raiders. Those are the Spartans. Those are the tip of the spear, and we need to have the best of the best out there.
Absolutely. Colonel, where do we find you on social media and the like?
Well, you're not going to find me on TikTok unless Elon Musk buys it. But out there on all the social media platforms, Steadfast and Loyal Podcast, theacru.org. I wrote a piece today talking about restoring constitutional governance, which kind of, talks about how we align legislation and budget process back to the Constitution. That's a big thing. That's out today on theacru.org.
Thank you, Colonel. As always, the week's young. Who knows? We might talk again.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Colonel.
I look forward to it.
Thanks.
God bless, Dom.
God bless. Colonel Alan B. West here on a big, big day. All right, so we have the Israel-Hamas hostage ceasefire deal. Netanyahu saying fully not complete yet, but it appears to be most people think there's movement. It's happening. And Biden is on tonight at 8 o'clock, so there we go. Dr. Jill Biden opens up to the Washington Post about Nancy Pelosi and says how awful this was, 50-year friendship and what she did to us. Oh, man. Pelosi and Jill Biden. All right, coming up, 855-839-1210, you get in. I have the median teacher pay for New Jersey, district by district. No, really, I'm going to give you the counties and see what you think about it. This came up yesterday because some of the things that Phil Murphy said in his State of the State, including he wants 16 and 17-year-olds to be able to vote in school board elections. I'm not in favor of that. I'll explain. All straight ahead on Talk Radio 1210.
Hi, it's Nick Kale. If you missed our Veteran Spotlight this month, you missed the story of United States Marine Corps veteran Gabe Rangel and how he is still serving our community with the Travis Manion Foundation. Check out the podcast or the video at 1210WPHT.com and click on our Veteran Spotlight. You'll be glad you did. It's all presented by Window Nation. For all of your window and door needs, visit windownation.com.
If the cold weather has you thinking it's finally time to replace those old drafty windows and doors, then there's no better time than now to make your home more energy efficient while taking advantage of Guida's big winter sales event. My good friends at Guida Door and Window are extending their big winter sale through the month of January by offering 40% off every window and door you buy. That's right, 40% off every expertly installed energy-efficient replacement window, which also includes free high-performance low-E glass. And if you're in need of a new door, you'll get 40% off any door, including insulated entry doors, sliding patio doors, garage doors, and storm doors. Plus, you can start your project with no money down and pay it off interest-free for up to 12 months. The offer is for a limited time only, so act quickly. If your home needs new windows and doors, call the experts at Guida today to schedule a free in-home estimate at 877-GO-GUIDA or visit them at GoGuida.com. That's GoGuida.com.
Attention Medicaid patients.
If you're on Medicaid, how would you like if your caretaker was your daughter, your son, your grandchild, or your close friend? If you're on Medicaid, Freedom Care allows you to choose who provides your care, and that caregiver will get paid instantly after their shift. Yes, your caregiver will get paid instantly, and it's 100% free to you if you are on Medicaid. Call 267-692-3782 and ask Freedom Care how to get started with care today. No more worrying about getting care from an aide at an agency. Freedom Care helps you choose who you want to take care of you, and that person gets paid. Call Freedom Care at 267-692-3782, 267-692-3782 to get started today. You get a caregiver you know and trust, and they get paid instantly after their shift, and it's free to you. Start now by calling 267-692-3782, 267-692-3782, or go to freedomcare.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
As a business owner, you wear a lot of hats. One minute you're ordering today's inventory, and the next you're planning tomorrow's expansion. It's complicated, but your business credit card should be simple. With the Signify Business Cash Card by Wells Fargo, you earn unlimited 2% cash rewards on purchases for your business with no caps or categories to track. Signify Business Cash, the deliberately simple business credit card. Learn more at wellsfargo.com/signify. Terms apply.
Win big this winter with CNC Heating and Air Conditioning's win-win deal, offering the best HVAC value on new installs to keep your home warm. Save thousands instantly with no equipment markups, extended 10-year warranty, rebates, and tax credits. Plus, CNC makes budgeting for your new system easy with 0% financing options. Schedule an estimate today with CNC Heating and Air Conditioning, your local York certified comfort experts, and start saving today. Visit cc-hvac.com. Offers only for new installations through January 31st.
Hey, this is Jimmy Fallon in the house, and dig this, folks. This is not a drill. It's the real thing. You can now join me weeknights from 7 to 10 p.m. on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT or anywhere on the free Odyssey app.
All right, Tom Giordano show. Side question today, human feats. Today's day, Sully landed on the Hudson. Marcus Aurelius on Twitter, who's usually pretty good. Wilt Chamberlain's 10,000 plus. Well, Marcus, I think it was 20. Romantic interludes and 100-point game. Yes, let's never forget that. And 39 rule changes in the NBA just because of it. All right, so 855-839-1210. Murphy yesterday is talking about all kinds of digital stuff for identity and for your license. I guess if you had your license on your phone, but I don't know, reaching for your phone at car stops if it's dark to show your license, I'm not sure about that, how edgy. If you're in law enforcement, you could tell me, would that be even edgier? And Scott Presler on Twitter making the point, well, if you're going to be able to do everything on your phone as far as your ID, then why can't you have voter ID then? What would be the problem? What makes it so difficult? Isn't Jersey making this easier? That and talking about banning cell phones essentially in schools, having 16 and 17-year-olds vote in school board elections. Those were just a few of the things that Murphy rolled out yesterday. But the ID stuff, again, voter ID is wildly popular. It's common sense. Democrats have just been good at thwarting Republicans, and actually we came close in Pennsylvania, and Tom Corbett blew it. They beat him on the details. They got the public to believe it would be impossible. Some people would just not have any kind of form of ID. And I know we can say all that we want. We know better. But in public opinion, he didn't do a good job when he had it right there to win with it. 855-839-1210. You get on board. So this big story out of Israel now kind of subsuming everything else nationally, given they reached a hostage and ceasefire deal of sorts. And you heard Steve Feldman talk about this is not exactly what it appears to be long-term or anything like that out of it. But it's good news for those that are released, even though 10 are dead, 23 alive. And it brings back all that happened on October 7th, the horror of it, the shock of it. What a Rorschach test it was, my alma mater. Remember LaSalle, how we got on them because of their statements that they put out about it? There are two sides to the story. No, there's not, LaSalle. Shut up. There's not two sides to any of it. Stop with the two sides. You have one group that wants to make peace, live in peace, even offer to help with the technology they have to develop the others, and then you have the terrorists. You have a lot of innocent people on the other side, but the terrorists blunt all that. And that's what it's about. And it's going on for how long? Our lifetime. And will it continue? Yeah, it's very difficult. Trump will make it better. Abraham Accords, he did a lot to bring Israel closer together with these other countries. Should have gotten the Nobel Peace Prize for that. Maybe this time around he might get it. Versus people like Biden. Weakness that helps all this type of stuff to happen. By the way, a lot of debate. Marjorie Taylor Greene saying that, yeah, of course, Trump is using this as a term of art. We're not going to have a solution to Ukraine within 24 hours of Trump being president. It's not going to be about that. It's going to take some time, and Ukrainians will look at this differently, the Ukraine government, because with Trump, you'll have a completely different view of what they should be doing and what we're moving toward. So, no, it's not going to be 24 hours. You're going to hear a lot on that. Oh, Trump didn't keep his promise. 855-839-1210. You get on board. All right, let's go to Gary in Newtown on Talk Radio 1210. Hey, Gary, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Dom. Thank you.
You're
Thanks
welcome.
for taking the call. I'd like to see Leah Thomas pull this one off. The girl's name is Nadia Suleiman.
Yes.
And in 2009, she was blessed with 8 children. Now, that's a feat in of itself. I only have 3 kids. 2 of them were teenagers at one time, but they're all going to be 16. 8 16-year-olds in her household this year.
I remember it was fertilizer drugs. She was doing something like that, and she intended to have a lot of kids at once. And God knows how much the state has paid for that whole thing. 8. Yeah, that is pretty bad. Yeah, pretty tough.
I can't imagine.
That's a good one, Gary. Yeah, 8 at once. I remember when that story broke, and this woman was vilified. And I think rightfully so, because it was pretty obvious she wasn't going to be able to navigate this without a tremendous amount of government support. That's what it would all be about. All right, Pam Bondi, the big issue today. I think she's going to sail through. I think she'll get some Democrats. They're saying she's qualified, but election denial. That's the story there. Rubio is going to sail through and may get 80, 85 or so people. I think Radcliffe, CIA, might get 80, 85 people. The only 2 that are still out there, and as riveting as the headset thing was, I would pay money to be sitting there, Elizabeth Warren and RFK Jr. Oh, my God. To see this. And we haven't talked about it. So, Dan, I'll give you have to feel vilified. You didn't even see this, right, because you were doing the Dawn Show. But that red dye 3 has now been banned as a cancer risk by the FDA in the Federal Register. Yes.
We talked about it a little bit during Dawn.
I'm in agreement. Okay.
Yeah, no, it's 100%.
Yeah.
I'm in favor of this. Again, it goes back to RFK often preaches the danger of these different food dyes, especially ones that you have often in our food that aren't in European foods, Canadian foods. And why is this shoved on Americans, and why is there no other choice but to drown ourselves in these dyes? So finally, the FDA reaches the year 2025 and actually puts a stop to this crap.
But it doesn't have to take effect at 27.
So 2027 is for foods, and then 2028 is for medications. So they're giving businesses some opportunity. And you made a great point at the start of the show. What's the political angle here? Why right before on the way out of office? And I think you're 100% right. I don't want to take the words out of your mouth, but you said with this 2 to 3 years, if RFK now decides to make things move a little bit faster, that gives the Democrats the tool to say, hey, well, look, RFK's against business. He's making it harder for these companies. They already had a date to end by, and it gives Democrats some kind of ammo in this fight. And
I would make it they have to comply by 2026. I think that's enough time. I mean, you just cannot have, if we agree, and the government now saying how dangerous this is. And here's what I wanted to ask. Usually we would hear conservatives say, see, there they go again with a scare tactic. But when RFK Jr. says it, people are on board. It's an interesting phenomenon. I'm on board with this. I wouldn't give them till 2027. It ought to be now. It ought to be 2026. We're beginning of 20. You got a whole year. Well, do you know what they have to do? Well, that's what they have to do. This is clear. And the medical part, that's even more troubling, that in our medicines, we have this. So is RFK Jr. looking at stuff? Is he a scare merchant or is he accurate?
So there's a video going around viral now of RFK talking about tertazine, a yellow dye, but also referencing other food dyes in the process. And it's a very interesting video. I did pull it if you want to listen to some of that.
Yeah, give us a little bit of what he says.
And youtube.com/@1210WPHT, you can see the visual here as well. Take a listen.
Figured out that the coal tar could be used to derive fabric dye. And if fabric dye, why not food? Food manufacturers began using it to cover up the discoloration of low-quality foods that they wanted to pass off on unsuspecting customers. They didn't know back then that this yellow dye, tartrazine, causes tumors, asthma, developmental delays, neurological damage, ADD, ADHD, hormone disruption, gene damage, anxiety, depression, intestinal injuries. Well, we know it now. We've known this for decades. That's why tartrazine is heavily restricted in other countries. In some countries, foods with tartrazine have a warning label that it may cause ADHD in children. Today, it's made from petroleum, not coal tar. Either way, it's crazy to add this to your kids' favorite foods. It doesn't even change the flavor. This yellow dye isn't just in junk food. It's in the foods that we consider healthy. It's in everyday kids' snacks like popcorn, mac and cheese, fruit snacks. It's in sports drinks like Gatorade and so-called vitamin water. It's even added to chicken broth, to corn, to pickles, to mustard, and to yogurt. And so, of course, our kids get sick. And we lovingly feed them chewable vitamins which have, surprise, tartrazine. And so the cycle continues until the coughs and asthma kick in, at which point you go to pick up some cough syrup. And yeah, you guessed it, tartrazine. I've been picking on tartrazine today, but that's just one of at least 100 chemical poisons that our health agencies allow into our children's food.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see what the Democrat counter is on that. What they want to get to will be vaccine. On the food, I don't think they're going to be dusting them up. Today's a perfect example. That this came down in the Federal Register by the FDA. Why now at the very end? Well, it's good that it's in there, but everything has a political base to it. All right, more calls coming up. Hit us with that all-time great human feat. Today's the day that Sully landed on the Hudson. The boldness of that just strikes me. And anybody can look at it and know who he was after and say, well, I felt pretty good. Probably I felt better him landing on the Hudson than a lot of pilots landing on a runway. Yeah, but you didn't know that then. You're going into the Hudson. 855-83.
You want something from Twitter?
Yeah.
How about Dan Goodwin, a.k.a. Spider-Man, climbed over 30 of the world's tallest buildings. It's impressive. Yeah. Thor Heyerdahl.
Oh, yeah.
You know
the raft guy.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
You actually
sure.
You're just like, oh, yeah, that guy. Yeah, Atlantic Ocean on a raft.
That is definitely impressive.
And another one, regular guest of the program, a doctor. Dr. Ben Carson, separating two conjoined twins by the brain.
You know what? That would have been a winner on a call-in because
answer there.
I've asked him many times. I marvel because he just he comes across as just a brilliant American and very religious, but I expect to hear a guy that was doing that, Dan, for 18, and I believe it's God. I really see the hand of God there more than just this guy as a surgeon. I expect a surgeon to be kind of blustery, aggressive, you know what I mean? And Dr. Ben, no. How did he do that? Why is it others can't do that or even try to do that? That would be a winner.
One more?
Yeah.
Jim Kenney getting elected mayor with his level of intelligence.
Or his affability. Not exactly the most affable man. Remember we knew the campaign was doomed? They sent Kenney, the Harris campaign, to upstate Pennsylvania to glad hand for Harris. Oh, my God. Just send him to a Wegmans, get the wine bar going there, have Kenney entertain him. That's about it. Where else? What's Jim Kenney doing these days? Can you imagine? Hey, Jim, call us sometime after a couple bottles over at Wegmans. How about when he told us, hey, when you go into Wegmans and buy...
a couple bottles over... You think he's just like sitting in the parking lot?
With you go to Wegmans and buy 6 bottles of wine. They want to see ID. Why is it not the same thing with guns? Right away with the wine and Wegmans.
Yeah.
That's his world. Yeah.
He really knows all about the buying more than 6 bottles of wine, which is hilarious.
And his attacks on Oaks, Pennsylvania, of all places. Henry, you had something. I see you edging in there.
No. I just think you talk about when she lost the election, just that I can't get that Zoom press conference out of my head of him just stuttering and just saying absolutely nothing for God.
I don't want to be mayor
long.
anymore.
How he was a paper boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, who cares?
Yeah, exactly. All right, 855-839-1210. That's how you get on board. AT&T and Verizon Wireless. Just push pound 1210. Hey, you're looking to achieve your health goals and start your new year right? Now's the time to optimize and support your heart health, cholesterol, digestive health, energy levels, and more with Rescue Natural Supplements with their New Year's savings. Rescue is celebrating you. Save 35% on single bottles of Rescue supplements. Use the code HEALTH35. Try the popular Rescue 1250 Omega-3s for heart health, Rescue Probiotic for better digestion, or Rescue Oracine for more energy. Whatever your health goals, Rescue has you covered. Place an order. Just call 800-26-ALIVE. That's 800-262-5483. Speak to a Rescue product consultant or shop online at res-q.com, res-q.com. Start your journey to better health today. Use that code HEALTH35. Again, save 35% on all single supplements with that code HEALTH35. Don't wait. Make this your best year ever. Do it with Rescue.
With a new administration bringing optimism back into the nation, it's more important now than ever before to become crash-proof.
Anthony Torelli, Clifton Heights, Pennsylvania. If President Trump can do what he did in his previous term as president and get the economy booming again, then that would be great for crash-proof and it'll be great for my family and my future. This year, our portfolio grew by 15.7%. If I had left my funds with my previous advisor, that money would have returned about 8 to 9%, and we outperformed my previous advisor 2 to 1. That's interest credit that we're not going to lose with no fees involved. I'm glad the market's up, and I hope it continues to go up. But at some point, the market's going to come down again, and I'm guaranteed not to lose anything. We can continue on this pathway to success with crash-proof retirement.
You don't have to choose between security and opportunity. Schedule an appointment or register for our next event at the Copperfield Inn on January 22nd. 800-722-9728 or crashproofretirement.com.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for less. And for a limited time, new customers receive their second month free when they sign up and use promo code SECONDFREE by January 26th. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Trust and Will knows that we'll all eventually need a will. How about right now? Trust and Will makes creating your will easy, like while you're lounging on the couch easy. Trust and Will is designed by attorneys but customized by you, and all documents are state-specific and secure. Find your plan at trustandwill.com and use offer code RADIO now for 10% off. That's trustandwill.com, offer code RADIO. Trust and Will is an online estate planning service. Visit trustandwill.com for details.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-700-6898. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-700-6898. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898 or biglou.com.
New year, new ride. Start off the new year with Hessert Chevrolet of Cherry Hill, formerly Mall Chevrolet. Get fantastic finance and lease offers on a wide selection of new models. Whether you're looking to lease or finance, we have great deals to help you drive into the new year in style. Hessert Chevy of Cherry Hill offers one of the largest inventories in the area. For over 40 years, the Hessert family has been a trusted part of this community. Together, let's drive. Visit HessertChevyCH.com.
Hessert Chevrolet!
Virtua Health, real patients, real doctors, real complex cases. Take one.
Open heart surgery, tear in my aorta.
The most complex cases come to us at Virtua Health.
I'm sure I wouldn't have been here without you.
Being a 45-year-old, not being able to walk up one flight of stairs, I had no idea I was in heart failure.
Virtua is a premier heart failure center in South Jersey.
They changed my life. It's truly a blessing.
Want to follow our stories? Go to virtua.org. Virtua Health, here for good.
See Joe Conklin's comedy show at Holy Rosary Regional School in Plymouth Meeting Saturday, February 1st with Jim Daly and Tim Conniff. For tickets, go to joeconklin.com. joeconklin.com!
Weather sponsored by Newtown Athletic Club.
Temperatures remain well below average as an Arctic air mass remains locked into the Delaware Valley. Sun and clouds today will be breezy, high up around 35, but feeling more like the teens and 20s with the wind. Very cold tonight, mostly clear, low 22. And Thursday becoming mostly cloudy, chance for a few snow showers with a high 33.
It's go time for your fitness at the Newtown Athletic Club, or NAC, in Bucks County. The NAC offers a variety of family-friendly gym memberships to accommodate each stage of your life, from youth to active aging, young families to empty nesters. Schedule a visit. Go to newtownathletic.com.
Hey, Cherry Hill. We know your favorite station is WPHT. Tell your smart speaker, play 1210 WPHT.
It is Dom time. Finally, we hope to speak with Scott Jennings. I don't know, but this breaking news, I haven't seen any email from him. From CNN, yesterday he was scheduled to be on, and we had the Pete Hegseth thing. A lot to talk about with him. Just his, the facial expressions that had the panel on CNN enraged. He's become really the hottest guy in cable. And he's best on CNN. If he were on Fox, he would just have another viewpoint that's kind of similar. But there, it's amazing, the response. Yesterday, the King of Hair, the Prince of Hair, gave us his State of the State. And one of the things he talked about was stockpiling abortion pills. That's right, ahead of the repressive regime of Donald Trump. Do we really think that Trump wants to go after abortion pills? This is going to be his drumbeat. Where's the evidence of this all the time with Trump? But in doing so, Murphy talked about, now this is a guy who truly, over 8 years, one of the biggest criticism is he's not Jersey. He doesn't get Jersey. He doesn't even eat pizza the way it's preferred to be eaten there. How many times have we talked about this? Jersey values.
Well, how do you eat it?
I don't know if I eat it the same way he does or not. Does he
eat it with a fork and knife or something?
No, well, that might be something he might have done once or twice, but it was the folding part. If you Google it, it might show a picture of what he was doing. And that's what has been, even on the pizza thing. When Cettarelli ran against him, he talked about the pizza incident. But clearly.
Now, you might have noticed that there's some confusion about where the country's and the world's best pizza is. these guys in Connecticut claim.
I didn't know he was going on a full rant about pizza before eating
it. All.
Jeez.
Yeah.
We all know
what's
it's
he
in
doing?
Jersey.
This is eating pizza.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, but it's...
He talked about Jersey values. So I've asked this over the years. Now, Jersey, one of the reasons why these progressives get away with it is people love Jersey. It's got a sense of place. He mentioned pizza there. It's the foods. It's the cultural things. It's kind of like South Philly. It's a similar type of thing. It's a sense of place. Yes.
I don't think he folds the pizza, and that's what's weird about it.
Oh, they want to fold it.
Yeah,
okay,
you gotta fold it. That's why I like.
That's why I like a smaller, crisper sort of pizza, not all that folding and all that stuff. I don't think I fold it either, but I don't know if that's in South Philly. I don't remember people folding it.
You don't just hold up a piece of floppy pizza and stick it in your mouth.
You just let it go down. Yeah.
No,
you can put your hand under it a little bit. You don't have to fold it.
No, you
can
bring
a
a fold
pizza.
pizza.
No, because then you gotta raise it above your head.
No, you
and,
have to
lower
raise
it in your
No,
mouth.
Heat it on the side a little bit. No, I'm not a folder. I'm not. I don't remember that being in the South Philly book.
Yes, it
Henry,
is.
where are you from originally? What book? Where did you get?
I'm not even from South Philly, but I feel like I eat pizza more Italian than you do.
I don't think so.
I don't know. I'm not saying it's more Italian. It's just the correct way. It's just.
Okay.
It seems like a lot of work to just eat a floppy pice of pizza.
Something about the folding that I'm not a folder. I just never have folded a pizza.
I think the not folding, it's like an ick almost. Like, oh, that
It
guy.
is.
Yeah.
Because that's what I saw when Phil Murphy did it. I was like, ugh.
Yeah, well, I don't see the necessity.
I'm gonna,
unless you're doing it up for the camera or
Yeah.
something like, oh, this is gonna be a good slice, and and you do it.
It shouldn't be that sloppy. You guys are getting bad pizza then.
I am actually transferring it over to our video PC right now.
Yeah.
And during the break, go check out youtube.com/@1210WPHT to see how unnatural it looks when Phil Murphy eats his pizza without folding it.
All right. So he's talking about Jersey values. What is the number one? What is a Jersey value? Matt Rooney's busy, I think, right now. He might be in court. I would call upon him or Mike Donahue. I'm trying to think, what is the number one thing? I could give you South Philly values, but Murphy talked yesterday. We're not going to let Trump spoil our Jersey values. We're going to, in his own way, Trump-proof, not in the way of California, but somewhat like that. We are not going to let him intrude on these beautiful Jersey values. And then he lists a bunch of things that I never heard anybody in Jersey talk about. Reproductive health rights is a Jersey value. Talking about illegal immigration, pretty much. That appears to be a Jersey value. What is a real Jersey value? 855-839-1210. The people in Jersey, by and large, would buy into this. That they think, that's what Jersey's all about. When Dan and I asked Emery one time on the side question, things you associate with Jersey, we literally had to stop the answers. It was that overwhelming, either people or things. Who would be the epitome of Jersey? You're going to go with the stereotypes? Is it going to be some kind of mobster type? Is it going to be North Jersey? North Jersey seems to be more Jersey to me than South Jersey, which is an extension of Philadelphia. North Jersey seems to be what Soprano, stuff like that, Upper, that you're talking about when you're thinking of Jersey. No, I don't like it. It's horrible.
What about Central Jersey?
There is no such. They say there's one, but I don't really know if there is.
I had to test the waters here to see what's up.
Yeah, is it what, oil refineries on the side of the road, gangsters?
Where were you living?
He's
North Jersey.
Texas.
He's living in the Sopranos theme song.
Yeah.
He's going through the opening credits.
When people say Jersey, that's what they mean. South Jersey, I don't think has anything. It's nice. It's not like North Jersey.
Yeah.
But there's nothing. It's more like Philadelphia than Jersey.
It is just East Philly.
Yeah, exactly. All right, 855-839-1210. I'm not going to get dragged into the floppy pizza argument here. All right. Yeah, hit us with that. What is a Jersey value? Let me go to the Earl of Tacony here. He's got something on the side question. Hey, Earl, you are our resident pundit on this. What's a Jersey value? What the heck is this guy talking about? What would you say is a Jersey value?
It's hard to say because Jersey's really gone downhill. I mean, it used to be that you could get a decent Jersey tomato. You can't even get a decent Jersey tomato that you could, side of the road stand, pick it up and eat it like an apple. And they don't have them anymore. And so, can we blame Phil Murphy for that? Maybe. I don't know. But
what's the value? Is it the language? What's a cultural value of Jersey? It's a tough one. Okay.
I'm afraid to say. I mean, every time I'm in Jersey, I just always notice that everybody drives 15 miles an hour under the speed limit. I mean, that's a Jersey value, in my opinion.
Okay. All right. So, Earl, what's your answer to the side question?
My answer to the side question today is Desmond Doss. If you're not familiar with the name, you might have heard about it from the Clint Eastwood movie Hacksaw Ridge. Desmond was a country boy, was raised a Seventh-day Adventist. He was a pacifist. He was exempt from service in the war because he worked at a shipyard, being essential services, but he enlisted anyway. But since he refused to carry a weapon, they made him a medic. When he was stationed in Okinawa, they climbed a sheer cliff face onto the battlefield, and when all of the American soldiers had withdrawn and retreated, he remained there and removed between 75 and 100 soldiers, running across the battlefield back and forth, unarmed, dragging wounded soldiers off the battlefield and lowering down the cliff face to be evac'd for medical treatment. He was shot and wounded 4 times. He received 7 pieces of shrapnel in his body when he kicked away a grenade that had been thrown in his direction. And when they finally evacuated him off of the island for his injuries, as he was being evacuated, a sniper went and shot him and shattered the bone in his arm.
Yeah, I've seen the movie. I know exactly what you're talking about. Good one. That is a spectacular human feat. All right, but what's a Jersey value? Is it that tough? Murphy talks about it all the time. Yesterday, he talked about it in conjunction with President Trump, and we're not going to let him spoil our Jersey values. 855-839-1210.
Harry, if you watch any more of those stupid financial shows, I'm filing for divorce.
How am I going to keep up with our retirement accounts?
At JML Financial Group, we want you watching your grandkids playing soccer and sunsets in Hawaii, not the latest rumor of a market crash. Surprisingly, with proper income planning, the stock market shouldn't even be a concern. The money came in every 2 weeks while you worked. It should be the same in your retirement years. Let us show you how. Call JML Financial Group today at 856-925-6674. That's National Financial Services, LLC is not an affiliated company.
The 2025 Philadelphia Polar Plunge is the coolest event in the Philadelphia region. Come chill at Citizens Bank Park on February 1st to make a splash and support Special Olympics Pennsylvania athletes at the same time. Every dollar raised helps support vital sports, health, and leadership programming for people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. When you get to the event, check out Plunge Town, which features music, food, activities, and more. Visit phillyplunge.org to sign up today. phillyplunge.org.
D&K Appliances is a family-owned and operated business for 3 generations located in Newtown Square and Flourtown. D&K Appliances offers one-stop shopping, providing delivery, installation, and service of top brands like GE, Thermador, Wolf, Bosch, Speed Queen, KitchenAid, and Whirlpool for your kitchen or laundry. D&K Appliance sales associates are industry experts, supporting customers every step of the way. Visit D&K Appliances, the dependable difference. Newtown Square and Flourtown showrooms, or visit DKAppliances.com.
Dawn Stensland here. Recently, I had Marvin E. Cans Heating and Air Conditioning out to my home to make sure it's winter ready. A 3rd-generation owned and veteran-founded company. Maybe you live in an older suburban home. Consider a ductless unit from Mitsubishi Electric Heating and Air Conditioning. Mitsubishi Electric is a great solution for a home lacking ductwork and could provide up to $2,000 in tax savings. Contact Marvin E. Cans Heating and Air Conditioning now. Marvin E. KANZE.com. Tell Dawn sent you.
Hey, it's Joe DeCamera. Let me tell you about United Tire and Service. You know, we all want to trust the people that service our cars, and we all want convenience. With 10 locally owned United Tire locations, you can get your car into the shop and back on the road quick and easy. And whether it's for an oil change or an engine repair, they'll take the time to get to know you and your car. They always get you the best tire prices by shopping competition to save you money on all the major brands. Schedule for the location nearest you at UnitedTire.com. That's UnitedTire.com. Don't drive alone. Drive United.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 five-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Free speech lives here with Kale and Company weekday mornings on Odyssey's #1 talk station, 1210 WPHT.
Fix your hair up pretty and meet me tonight in Atlantic City.
Yeah, now that song should be the Jersey anthem, I would think. I can think of nothing. I'm knocking off all the Springsteen songs.
Really want Atlantic City representing the whole state?
Well, you know, they were going to tell us if you're really out there in Jersey, we're told. I'm sure Phil Murphy would say it, Christy would. Well, Jersey is Springsteen. That's a Jersey value. Let's not go into all the ways that might be true. Let's go to Celeste, though. She thinks something else in Mays Landing. Hey, Celeste, welcome in.
Hi, Dom. Hi, Dan.
Hi, Celeste.
Yes, one of major staples in New Jersey these days is pot smoking because everybody smells like skunk in every store that you go to. I just moved here from Bucks County.
Okay.
I moved here in August from Bucks County, and I can't wait till the spring hits so I can put my house up for sale and move back.
Wow.
I absolutely hate it here.
Why?
Hate it here.
What's the problem?
I don't even like to take my kids to the stores with me because I'm afraid to ask, or that they're going to ask what that smell is.
Wow,
and
is that
and what am I
potent?
going to say? Everybody's smoking pot?
Just tell
I don't want to tell my babies that.
Tell them there's been an explosion of population in skunks in the state recently.
There you go. Well, Celeste,
Yeah.
thank you. Great call. I hope it works out better there. You know, at some point, we'll have to ask Dawn Fantasia, what's a Jersey value that Murphy's talking about? I haven't noticed that there's that many people smoking pot,
Well,
but I assume based upon the numbers it is.
You're digging for one. I know where you're digging for it. Pumping your own gas.
Yes,
Not pumping
that's
your own
it.
gas.
Yeah, exactly. The craziness of it, just the absolute. I've had normal people getting screaming matches with. They see you out there with the pumping gas.
Don't take it away.
It's insane. It just is.
It makes us special.
Right. Silly.
If that's how you feel about it, sure.
The one
You can
state
have
where
it.
you can't pump your own gas. That is a great one. Yeah, I'm glad you broke the code. That's a Jersey value, right, Phil? All right, coming up, Scott Jennings. I asked him what a Kentucky value is. On a roll yesterday on CNN about Pete Hegseth, but we asked him about everything out there. Scott Jennings and your calls next on Talk Radio 1210.
Do you have a property that you no longer want? Maybe you inherited the property. Maybe you're underwater in the property. Or maybe you're just a tired landlord, tired of dealing with tenants. Listen, I can buy those properties, and I'll buy those properties fast. I can close in 2 weeks. I buy properties cash. My name is Larry Steinhaus. Give me a call at 855-939-1137. That's 855-939-1137, and I will personally answer the call. You can also visit easyOutRealEstate.com. Hey, this is Larry Steinhaus from Investor Schooling. Did you know I have a radio show every Saturday from 1 to 3? It's called The Larry Steinhaus Show, and it's sponsored by Investor Schooling. On this show, you will learn things about finances and things about money that you never knew before. But even more of a reason to listen to this show is how much fun we have. If you haven't heard the banter between me, Omri, and Dr. Deb, you haven't heard the greatest show on earth. Listen to this show this Saturday at 1 o'clock right here on WPHT, and I promise you will learn something.
Attention Medicaid patients.
If you're on Medicaid, how would you like if your caretaker was your daughter, your son, your grandchild, or your close friend? If you're on Medicaid, Freedom Care allows you to choose who provides your care, and that caregiver will get paid instantly after their shift. Yes, your caregiver will get paid instantly, and it's 100% free to you if you are on Medicaid. Call 267-692-3782 and ask Freedom Care how to get started with care today. No more worrying about getting care from an aide at an agency. Freedom Care helps you choose who you want to take care of you, and that person gets paid. Call Freedom Care at 267-692-3782, 267-692-3782 to get started today. You get a caregiver you know and trust, and they get paid instantly after their shift, and it's free to you. Start now by calling 267-692-3782, 267-692-3782, or go to freedomcare.com.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm, A-rated by the Better Business Bureau. Their award-winning team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to end your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other IRS actions. Make sure you're getting the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima today for a free confidential consultation.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Damon John here, the People Shark. I want to share a secret that's changing people's lives. There is a company called National Debt Relief that can help you get out of debt faster than you ever thought possible, like 12 to 48 months from now. With National Debt Relief, you can cut your minimum credit card payments by 50% and pay as little as $250 a month. Imagine, instead of paying multiple high-interest payments every month, you can make one low monthly program payment, plus you can get approved in just a few minutes. They've helped hundreds of thousands of people just like you. Trust me when I tell you, National Debt Relief's got your back and can help you get back on track.
To learn how you can reduce your credit card debt and become debt-free, call 800-234-7799. 800-234-7799. Again, that's 800-234-7799.
Don't wait. Apply today.
Philadelphia's Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. Always live on the free Odyssey app. It's Dom time. Now, Dom Giordano.
Big issues, big guests. We love having Scott Jennings on. Yesterday, his day job over at CNN post Pete Hegseth consumed a lot of time. It was a tour de farce for some of the other guests on there. Scott Jennings joins us here in Philadelphia again on the Dom Giordano Show. Hey, Scott, welcome back. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, glad to be here. Greetings from your nation's capital today.
Well, thank you, Scott. Scott, does it give you great pleasure to see people on Twitter, their handles now, Scott Jennings, facial expressions, things like that, popping up all over the place?
Yeah, it's quite amusing to me to see these things, and I'm gratified that people are watching the content. I mean, ultimately, it's a testament to what we're doing on the air. I think we're having some good debates, and I think I'm landing some blows for freedom out there, and people seem to be noticing, so it's been great fun.
Absolutely. So what's your biggest takeaway from Hegseth yesterday with this? I was kind of surprised that Gillibrand would go off so early on, and strategically, what it did, doesn't it open it up for every other Trump nominee now, except Gabbard and maybe RFK Jr., that they've really gone crazy here in this nominating, but they can't recreate this again.
Yeah, I was sort of appalled at the Democrats' behavior yesterday. I mean, this is the Armed Services Committee, which is a very important committee, and I'm sort of puzzled why Democrats put their stupidest members on this particular committee. I mean, Hirono,
yes.
Jill. I mean, it's only the U.S. It's only the U.S. Armed Forces. I mean, what? You know, why wouldn't we send our dumbest people? Like, I mean, you got Hirono, Gillibrand, Elizabeth Warren. I mean, fundamentally unserious people. I mean, Richard Blumenthal was berating Hegseth for his qualifications. Blumenthal himself lied about having served in Vietnam. And so, you know, you get this sort of Democrat clown show. They made Hegseth look good. They made it more likely that he'll be confirmed. And if you look at the way they behaved, the worst one was Tim Kaine, you know, the supposed mild-mannered guy from Virginia. He sounded like a sex pervert yesterday. 8 minutes of questioning about Hegseth's sex life. And I'm just honestly like, guys, what are you doing? And Hegseth, he stayed cool, didn't make any mistakes. You know, I had no problem with anything he did yesterday, and ultimately think it would be hard now for a Republican to side with the Democrats against him. I mean, look, there may be people who think he's not qualified just as a resume matter, but if you just watch that hearing, Democrats looked unhinged and Hegseth looked like he was under control.
Yeah, exactly. There was not. And that would be a reasonable question. He's never headed anything like this, Scott, but I think he deflected it well, talking about, he wants to bring disruption to it, but it still would have been serious to say, that's fine, Pete, but tell me what you're going to do with X, Y, or Z. We never got to that. The women in combat thing consumed them.
Yeah, and he handled the question with Joni Ernst perfectly.
Yes. Yep.
And obviously he has been spending time with her. And then after the hearing, she made the announcement that she is going to support him. So as far as I'm concerned, if Joni Ernst feels like Hegseth has answered these questions and has a proper policy position and an outlook, then I'm fine with it. Also, the Secretary of Defense is not a monolith. There is a team, and there's also a national security team that works with the president. You've got the National Security Council and that staff. You've got other high-ranking civilians in the Pentagon. There's a whole team here that works with and under the commander-in-chief to make policy decisions. Some people accuse Hegseth of being a little vague. Well, he's not there necessarily to make hardcore or hardened policy announcements. I mean, those are usually made by the president. And so I thought he left enough latitude on the things he needed to and was specific where he needed to be, particularly on the women in combat issue. And he obviously has a different worldview than the current management of the Pentagon, and I think that'll be just fine with the American people.
Without a doubt. Scott, today, now seeing this breaking news, I want to talk with you about California, LA Times in a moment, but the breaking news, I'm looking at President Biden at this part. I'm sure you guys will be discussing it. And let's face it, there are politics involved here. Who gets credit for this, that it breaks at this point? What's your sense about why it happened right now?
The hostage and ceasefire deal is happening because Donald Trump won the election. I mean, period. I mean, he's been very clear that they'll be held to pay if there isn't some kind of a deal. And I think that was the necessary catalyst. Now, two things can be true. You can believe that Trump's winning caused the deal. You could also have problems with the deal. I've seen some people that I really respect who aren't very happy with what has been signed here. I mean, ultimately, a bunch of terrorists are going to be let out of jail in order for this ceasefire and hostage exchange to occur. And I don't particularly like that either. But if you're someone who wants the hostages back and the remains of the people who they're holding that are obviously dead, you know, at some point you got to accept something. So I think it's not a perfect deal, but I think Trump's coming into office and their unwillingness, you know, if you're a terrorist with any level of responsibility, you wouldn't want to deal with Donald Trump. You were hoping Joe Biden would win because he was far more likely to fold on our relationship with Israel than Trump is. So I do think Trump is the cause. I think the deal is imperfect, but if we get any hostages back and bring an end to this madness, that would be a good day.
Scott, you on CNN, and, you know, these other guys are saying it in isolation. I have callers, and none of them go after me on this. When I say, yes, we're going to help the people in L.A., but there are going to be strings attached. The question is this. In what real world, and you have real world experience, you're connected, you're a Kentucky guy, all that, what is it that we would extract that you think is possible if we give $200 billion federal aid or $250, whatever it is? What can you do to rein these people in? I don't think you can reasonably rein them in.
I think at a minimum, there ought to be some requirements that the state of California prove that it is going to have proper forest management policies, that it's going to have proper water resource management policies, and that it makes promises like, I don't know, keep the reservoirs filled, make sure that the fire department is hiring the most qualified firefighters, making sure that there are regular testing of the fire hydrants so that if there is a massive fire, that you're going to have enough water pressure to put things out. I mean, it strikes me that they're having a crisis of competence out there, and people in California are finding out the hard way what happens when you hire incompetent people who are more interested in social engineering than firefighting. But I think this forest management and the water resource management issues, surely some promises could be extracted from California before you just hand over a blank check. I think Republicans want to help the people who've been devastated. What they don't want to do is write a blank check to politicians who are going to continue to plow money and time into policies that clearly failed the people of Los Angeles.
Talking with Scott Jennings from CNN here on Talk Radio 1210. So, Scott, I've seen the owner of the LA Times talk about it was a mistake to endorse Karen Bass versus the Caruso, the Republican. I was kind of surprised that they did at that point, and I guess maybe it was early on and now there's a change. Couple things. What will you be doing with the LA Times or are doing, and how did it happen they endorsed Bass?
Well, I wasn't I just had a loose affiliation with the paper during the mayor's race. I've written columns for them over the years. Late last year, the new owner of the Times, Dr. Patrick Soon-Shiong, asked if I'd be willing to join the paper's editorial board, and I told him that I would. And the details of the new board are coming together, and so I'll have more to say about that when the new board is formulated. But if I had been in the room and we were having a conversation about candidates to endorse, I certainly would have had strong views on Karen Bass because I didn't consider her to be qualified at the time. And what Dr. Soon-Shiong has said in the aftermath of all this is that it was a mistake. They ended up endorsing someone who ultimately wasn't competent, and she's proven that she wasn't competent. There's no way she could possibly run again or be reelected in Los Angeles. The emphasis, first of all, I think it was kind of brave for him, honestly, to admit a mistake like that, number one. Number two, what he's been putting an emphasis on is competence. Are we being run competently? You know, there's a lot of great things about California. It's beautiful. There are great people there. It's, amazing resources. But when you put that kind of a place in the hands of incompetent ideologues, partisan ideologues, bad things happen. That's what's happened in the case of the LA wildfires. And it's also what's happened in the case of governance in California generally, and why people are fleeing California to go to other states that are better run.
Yes, but not, we're close. We're right next door to Jersey. Now, Jersey doesn't have the weather, but it has a great sense of place. And time after time, it leads year after year, the U-Haul, the moving out of the state. Yet we never reach a critical mass where people, Scott, seem to be saying that's enough. Now, we got the governor's race in Jersey coming up. You think America is at a tipping point? Or is it just the Trump magic where America is saying we've had enough of this, and if Republicans really follow through on this, we're going to see something that might shift for 10 years or so?
Well, I think it's hard to think in 10-year increments because you don't know how people are going to perform. I mean, if Donald Trump and the Republicans take the opportunity they've been given, which is full control of Washington, albeit slim majority, but full control, if they take the opportunity, enact their program, and fulfill the promises that they made, I think politically they're going to be fine. I mean, ultimately, I think one of the reasons they won is because they're portraying themselves, and I think it's true, as the party of common sense. It's not, an ideological argument. It's like common sense on a number of issues, whether they're economic or cultural or, of a governance nature. If they just act like common sense people, enact their program, don't get bogged down in fighting amongst themselves, they'll have a really good opportunity to expand on this majority. I mean, a whole bunch of people who aren't really Republicans or not traditionally Republicans voted for Trump, and they voted for Republicans because they were tired of what the Democrats were giving them. He did better with minority voters than any Republican has done since Nixon. There's a reason for that, because there's a hunger for common sense. So, yes, he leads the conservative party, but right now, more than anything, he leads the common sense party. If he governs as a common sense president, good political things will happen to him in the future.
Scott, parting question. I've been meaning to ask you this since the last time, and you've been very generous with your time. What the heck happened in Kentucky that you have that governor? The guy seems to be completely out of place, what I think are the mores, values, culture of Kentucky.
Yeah, Andy Bashir, interestingly, he and I are the exact same age. I've known him since I was 16 years old. And his father was the governor for a couple of terms. And, they have a family political dynasty. You might be interested to know the governor of Kentucky is a very weak position. The legislature there can override the governor with a simple majority override on any veto. So effectively, the governor is something of a figurehead. And while he has been winning, the rest of the state offices, attorney general and the rest on down, are all Republicans. And the state legislature is supermajority Republican in both chambers. So he really is kind of a figurehead and is sort of the last of a political dynasty type family. I think in 2027, when the race comes up again, Republicans will most likely win that race. But it's a weak office, and he's a very liberal guy, and he sort of preaches that he's a moderate or a nonpartisan sort of type of a technocrat. But make no mistake, he intends to run for president in 2028, and he will be one of, if not the most liberal candidates in the field.
Without a doubt. Scott, and if you can't answer, you can't answer. Do you have a favorite sparring partner on CNN at the table or other shows that when you're on with this person, maybe you respect them and you know it's going to be an interesting debate? Somebody that you like going back and forth with?
Well, my two best friends at the network are David Axelrod and Van Jones. I love them both dearly. I consider them brothers. And I also spend a lot of time on the air with Ashley Allison, who's actually from Ohio and a very seasoned political operative. She and I spend lots of time together, and I respect her tremendously. So I would say those three are among my favorites. But truthfully, the whole CNN community has been really fun to be part of for the last 7.5 years, and I'm looking forward to more time on that in the future. But I'd say Axe, Van, and Ashley right now are kind of the three Dems that I love the most.
Good stuff. Scott, thank you very much. Thanks for coming on. And you're on tonight. What show are you on tonight?
I'll be on after Joe Biden gives his farewell address. I'll be giving my thoughts on that. So I'll be ready. I'll be ready to unroll the. The great thing about Biden is that nobody in America believes their own narratives more than Joe Biden. So I look forward to the yarn that he spins tonight about how great shape the country is in that he's leaving behind, because I'm sure it'll be a doozy.
Absolutely. Scott, thank you. Thanks so much again for coming on.
Thanks, guys. See ya.
Scott Jennings on Talk Radio 1210, really the rising guy in cable. Yeah, Van Jones has been on a few times. And look, we differ ideologically, but he's a smart guy, and it wasn't antagonistic. Axelrod, same kind of thing. The other woman I've seen him with, is pretty sharp. All right, we'll take more calls coming up. Don't forget today's side question. Got a lot of people on Jersey. What's the Jersey culture Phil Murphy's always talking about? And in addition to that, a feat. Today's the day that Sully landed on the Hudson. But right now, it's time for...
It's Dom's Money Melody.
That's right. We're playing again for a big $50 gift card to Ace Hardware. Did you receive an Ace Hardware gift card over the holidays? In celebration of National Use Your Gift Card Day on Saturday, January 18th, treat yourself to a wide selection of high-quality products at your local Ace Hardware. For more information, visit acehardware.com. Dan?
Dom, you want to know a word you've never heard pronounced before or never heard it before? Come. Come is what we're talking about today. It's a great human feat, because our side question is, what are some fantastic human feats? And Dom, there is a way or a style of music that's out there that originates from a very specific portion of the world. There's actually 2 places that will accept as an answer today. But Kume is what it's called officially. And Dom, I'm going to play you a cover in Kume. And I want to know, Dom, what country this style of music originates from. Take a listen.
Scars of you, they leave me breathless. I can't help.
You ready for it? Here it comes. Yes, Kumai, Dom, is the type of singer we're looking for, originating from a specific part of the world. I don't want to say exactly what it's called in English, but that is the official name in its own language of what we're talking about here. A style of singing, Dom. Where it originates from is the answer we're looking for today.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to need a lot of clues for this
I
one.
knew it. I knew it immediately.
Okay.
I was surprised. I go, where's this come from? To
Yeah.
Henry, and he's like,
Okay.
blank. And I'm like,
All right,
wow,
all right.
wow, you got it right, yeah.
All right,
I know my stuff.
855-839-1210. We'll send you off to Ace Hardware, $50 gift card. You heard the question. Jump in.
And this whistling you're hearing is the guy doing it as well with his voice.
Okay.
It's part of the whole Kumai vibe, so yeah.
All right, 855-839-1210. You get him right now.
The scars of your love remind me of, they keep me.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group, and I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney, and the truth is I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney or if I look like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. At Wesley, we've helped over 40,000 families cancel their timeshare without me being an attorney. And I want to share with you how we do it. Just give my office a call, and you will not talk to an attorney. And I guarantee if we take you as a client, we'll get you out of your timeshare, or you'll pay nothing.
Call now for your free information kit. 800-714-9090. 800-714-9090. 800-714-9090.
As a business owner, you wear a lot of hats. One minute you're ordering today's inventory, and the next you're planning tomorrow's expansion. It's complicated, but your business credit card should be simple. With the Signify Business Cash Card by Wells Fargo, you earn unlimited 2% cash rewards on purchases for your business with no caps or categories to track. Signify Business Cash, the deliberately simple business credit card. Learn more at wellsfargo.com/signify. Terms apply.
The following heartwarming yet informative scene is brought to you by Trust and Will.
Son, your grandpa and I used to work on this car together, and when I'm gone, I want you to have it.
Wow. Thanks, Dad. Doesn't count. What you need is a will. Luckily, Trust and Will makes it easy. Designed by attorneys, but customized by you, you can easily create a state-specific, legally valid document that actually counts. Now, let's hear this tiger purr, am I right? Start your will at trustandwill.com. Use offer code COUNT for 10% off and make it count. Trust and Will is an online estate planning service. For details, see trustandwill.com.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for less. And for a limited time, new customers receive their second month free when they sign up and use promo code SECONDFREE by January 26th. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Local news can come at you fast. Want the latest on what's happening in your backyard? Download the free Odyssey app. Follow your local news station, and you'll get alerts on the top stories making headlines in your city. You can stay in the know, no matter what you're up to, and be among the first to find out when news breaks. Plus, keep tabs on weather and traffic, so you're never caught off guard. To get started, download the Odyssey app. That's AUDACY, and follow your local news station. Be sure to follow Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
It's the Money Melody.
Where has all the money gone?
Show me the money.
All right, playing for a $50 gift card to Ace Hardware. And Dan, we are looking for...
Yeah, the origin country,
Right,
Dom, of the
origin
style of
country, right.
language. Pop quiz. Dom Giordano, what's the name of the style of language we're asking for today? It's Kumai. Kumai.
Oh,
come on.
I had forgotten if that's... I don't want to say anything, and I might give
Don't-
something
don't-
away.
don't
here.
say the
That's-
region of the... Yeah.
No, that's why I was being...
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Well, Dom, here is
Okay.
an example of Kumai, a cover song, and we want to know what region of the world this comes from. We'll take two locations. Take a listen.
Scars of your love, they leave me breathless. I can't help.
All right, here comes the clue.
All right, something you don't hear every day.
You like it, right? It's pretty good.
It's different, yes. Chris in Croydon. All right, Chris, where's that coming from?
Is it from Albania?
That's a vague Albania, but I don't quite hear that.
I'd like to hear the reasons behind these answers.
Yeah, let's go to Bob in Cherry Hill. Bob, what do you say?
Is it Australia?
Oh, it's a didgeridoo is a pretty good guess there, but no, it is not. No.
I don't hear
So,
Australia
Dom,
either.
what kumai is a type of throat singing.
Right.
Throat singing originates from a very specific region. I don't want to give much more away after just these two answers. Let's see if the next person gets
All right,
it.
Alex in Burlington. Alex, where's this coming from?
Mongolia?
All right, I thought it was Tibet, but would you
Tibet?
accept
Okay,
or-
well, there's Tibet
yeah.
has the harmonic chanting, which is slightly
Right.
different than the kumai, but this, Dom, is indeed the Tuvan/Mongolian throat singing technique called, kumai.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think these guys probably don't have long careers doing this.
And we're talking human feats today as our side question.
Yeah, right.
Think about
That's a
that.
good one.
Like,
Yeah,
it's kind of hard to do, right?
Yeah, for a performance, yeah. So, Alex, you're the winner. By the way, that region, feats, climbing Mount Everest, of course, never gets old. Roger Bannister, first 4-minute mile. Once he did it, I think within in 3 or 4 years, several people had done it. We're looking for a human feat, though. Sully landing on the Hudson.
Can I offer one more vocal feat?
Yes.
All right, so Dom, here is the Guinness World Record
I'm
for
answering the phone for this one.
Yeah.
the longest continuous vocal note of all time. Yeah, I'm going to fade it down because it goes on for another minute and 58. I think it's 2 minutes and 2 seconds
Right.
total. This guy's able to hold a note, and not until the end did he start sounding like. Oh, he's losing it, Tom. He's losing it. Oh. 2 minutes and 1 second, the longest held note, continuous vocal note of all time.
All right, so the Guinness Book of World Records is pretty good at verifying these things, their process, but we're looking for a human feat that people might know, or you might just have vaguely.
Do you want to try holding a note longer than 2 minutes and 1
No,
second?
I don't want to do anything throat or vocally related. I'm very cautious about that. Here's one I was thinking about, even though the guy is despicable in the end. Paul in the Northeast, this is truly a feat. Hey, Paul, good afternoon. What's the feat?
Good afternoon, Dom. I have Charles Lindbergh, and he wasn't the most likable person in the world. But unlike some of your other guys, his feat was truly done solo.
Yes.
Even like Edmund Hillary had a guide. If Edmund Hillary fell or broke his leg, his guide could drag him to safety. If something went wrong on the trip across the Atlantic, Lindbergh died.
Yeah, nobody with them. And again, I admire that because I've done sleep deprivation breaking into talk radio, Paul, and I know how difficult it is. And I wasn't flying, of all things.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. I'm talking about his Nazi sympathies and all that later on. Yeah. Charles Lindbergh is a real good one, though.
One more thing, if I may add.
Sure.
Charles Lindbergh, although he had fascist tendencies, he did contribute to ultimate victory in World War II by teaching American pilots how to extend the range of their aircraft.
All right, nice touch. I'm glad he did that. Thank you. Thanks, Paul. That's a good one. That's a really good one. I just can't imagine flying across the Atlantic in a plane like that. The fuel, worrying about that, the direction, and doing it by yourself. I forget how long it took, but that's why he was the hero. Big time. All right, 855-839-1210. You get on board. That's how you jump in. This is Cut 15. Here's Megyn Kelly. Kind of a summary, as only Megyn Kelly can do it. Talking about yesterday, what we saw with Hegseth, and what we saw particularly with these Democratic women. Here's Megyn Kelly.
He's good. He's got this. I have zero doubts now that he will be confirmed. Joni Ernst was the big question mark, and she was great today. She was very nice in her questioning of him, very respectful. That's not a no vote. No way. And, this is just the Senate Armed Services Committee. He'll get out of committee. But like she was the big pivotal vote, even if Trump is going to lose potentially McConnell, potentially Murkowski, and Collins, which now they're saying he might not. I don't think Pete Hegseth has trouble. I think he's going to get confirmed, and I don't think anybody touched him. And really, to me, the story of the day was how some of these Democrat senators embarrassed themselves trying to. I was humiliated for some. Why do the women always have to be so shitty? Why do the women have to be like these hysterical fools? Why can't they be more dignified? You know, like you could lay gloves on him. I mean, Tim Kaine was the worst. I should say that up front. The worst, the most disgusting, I should say. But he wasn't like an hysteric. Mazie Hirono is so dumb. I can't believe she's a U.S. senator.
All right, that's a little bit of Megyn Kelly breaking it down. And one time, I forget which senator held it up, and they had it behind him. He was making the point, so there's not incompetency in the military, driven by quotas, DEI, and the word military was spelled MILTARY, leaving out the I, and was a giant sign that had been put up around DEI. Think about how often that happens. And it's one thing, anybody can make a spelling error. We know that. You know, particularly if it's a homonym, particularly if there's some I before E. But you're putting up a sign. The number of people that look at that. It reminds me of Philadelphia with the city was coming alive. Wilson Goode was mayor. They had the Beach Boys here from C to Shinning, SHINING, double N, rather than Shining C. And maybe 40 people put up that sign, looked at that sign, and put it out there on national TV.
Not just one.
So this guy holds it up yesterday, and he's being criticized. I think it's a fair point. How do you leave out the I in military? How do you put up a sign like that? How many people see it? It wasn't just one person putting it on a piece of paper in a hurry. It was an actual sign. Is that a sign of yes? It's a sign that people look at and think, what the heck is going on here? All right, 855-839-1210. That's how you get on board. Coming up, Joe Scarborough, though, differs. He's tired, he says this morning, of all of his beating up on the military. We're not beating up on the military. Pete Hegseth wasn't beating up on the military. We're beating up on the concept of the left and the military and what they've done to it. So is the military, in his view, every bit as strong as it's ever been? I don't think so. I think it's very, very clear they need a lot of work. Recruiting is just one example. How much have they lowered the standards to recruit people? That's always a tell. All right, 855-839-1210.
Temperatures remain well below averages and Arctic air mass remains locked into the Delaware Valley. Sun and clouds today will be breezy, high up around 35, but feeling more like the teens and 20s with the wind. Very cold tonight, mostly clear, low 22. And Thursday becoming mostly cloudy, chance for a few snow showers with a high 33.
Attention taxpayers. If you or your business owe the IRS back taxes or have years of unfiled tax returns, the IRS has green-lighted billions of dollars in tax relief to those facing financial hardship through its tax relief initiatives. If you have a delinquent tax problem and possibly facing wage garnishment, liens, levies, audits, or already in a payment plan, you may now qualify for significant relief. Qualifying and enrolling in this program could stop all collections, settle your tax problem, and may even reduce what you owe by up to 99%. Call the hotline at Tax Help USA to see if you qualify by dialing 800-214-3777. If you or your business owe at least $10,000 in back taxes to the IRS or state, you can now get the help that you need during these hard economic times. Call Tax Help USA to get your free tax assessment to see what you qualify for by dialing 800-214-3777. 800-214-3777. 800-214-3777. Attention taxpayers. If you or your business owe the IRS back taxes or have years of unfiled tax returns,
improve your family's comfort with a Bradford White water heater and enjoy all the hot water your household needs. All day, every day. With Bradford White, you get more than just a water heater. You get our commitment to quality and reliability that you can trust. How you heat your water matters, so don't compromise when it comes to your home or your hot water. Bradford White water heaters are built to be the best because your home deserves it. Visit BradfordWhite.com to learn more and find an installation pro near you.
See Joe Conklin with the City Rhythm Orchestra. It's Philly sports put to music at Westchester University in Pittman, New Jersey, February 21st and 22nd.
I'm glad I came. Best ever.
The highs, the lows, that band.
The music, the singing, everything. You laugh, you tear it up.
That's Conklin and City Rhythm at Westchester University on Friday, February 21st. And at the Broadway Theater in Pittman, New Jersey, Saturday, February 22nd. For tickets, go to joeconklin.com. joeconklin.com!
There's a reason that potato chips don't come in a clear bag.
There's only 8 chips in this bag.
That's why. It's only about 2/3 full. The rest is air. It's a lot like opening up your 401k at retirement. You get about 2/3 of it, and the rest goes to Uncle Sam. Jim Cipriotti at the Retire Ready Financial Group can help. His tax mapping process can help forecast what your tax bill will be in the future, and that way you can build a strategy now to potentially decrease your tax bill in retirement. In other words, more for you and less for Uncle Sam. Call today for your complimentary retirement tax mapping report, 610-894-7415. That's 610-894-7415, or find them online at retirereadyfg.com. And get Uncle Sam's greedy hands out of your retirement.
Hey, you've had enough.
With a complimentary tax mapping report from Jim Cipriotti. Investment advisory services offered through Retire Ready Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through James V. Cipriotti, Retire Ready Financial Group, LLC. NPN number 2083768.
Hair Volume is the best-selling hair tablet in the world and one of the many award-winning natural hair products from New Nordic. Purchase at newnordicusa.com or CVS.
Free speech lives here with Rich Zioli weekday afternoons 3 till 7 on Odyssey's #1 talk station, 1210 WPHT.
All right, Tom Giordano show. All right. I don't know where that came from. Mongolian throat singing, though, if you're just joining us. All right, from today's Money Melody. Here's how you get in.
Fantastic. I love it.
855-839-1210. As far as I can tell, things went pretty well with Bondi. Do I think she'll get eminently qualified, a vote or two by Democrats? Yeah, I think she will. And Republicans, it'll be 100%. With Marco Rubio, probably get 82 to 90 votes ultimately in favor of him as Secretary of State. I think Ratcliffe will do really well. So the one where there's going to be a showdown, maybe more than even Robert Kennedy Jr., that will get hysterical, no doubt. Health and Human Services, Dan, maybe you can just Google who is on the Health and Human Services, the Democrats now. I have no idea on that. That'll be whatever committee handles that. I'm not sure if there's a Health and Human Services committee, but Gabbard has been delayed for quite a bit, it seems like. And that's where even some Republicans have to be shored up. She said the right things about that 702 policy that involves the FISA courts. If that's the one that's left, is that where Democrats make their last stand, or have they already damaged themselves with this wild stuff with Hegseth yesterday that they can't? None of the other nominees seems to be in any kind of trouble unless there's something you never know that gets to be found out. And now we're on to the battle. It's pretty obvious that President Trump coming into office moved the needle on this hostage deal. You have people saying the pressure, though, that Trump put was on Netanyahu more than just he'll take care of the terrorists. We'll have to see how that shakes out, what kind of trail, what kinds of things, what else President Trump says about it. So it's a good day, even though out of the 98 hostages believed still held one way or the other, it's only 33 that we're looking at here that are going to be released. But President Biden tonight, 8 o'clock. Okay, here is a little bit, though, of Rubio talking about China. And I like Rubio on this. The Trump administration has to be even more explicit. Now, I know they can't say it, but are we all in agreement? China is not an adversary. China is the enemy of the entire world. That's what they are. We saw it with COVID. We see it with their motions around the world. And I just don't think if you're a Chinese national in any way affiliated with this or a front group, you ought to be able to buy land in the United States, anywhere, any place at any time. And if you're fronting for them, we ought to look at treason in what's happening here on college campuses, the Confucius centers, and these other things. They are an existential threat. They're a greater threat to the world than anything we've ever seen. Think about it. Think of COVID. Think about what they did there. And think about what they would do to us if they feel they can get away with it. Here is Rubio today in the questioning talking about China.
If we stay on the road we're on right now, in less than 10 years, virtually everything that matters to us in life will depend on whether China will allow us to have it or not. Everything from the blood pressure medicine we take to what movies we get to watch, and everything in between, we will depend on China for it. They have come to dominate the critical mineral industry supplies throughout the world. Everywhere in the world, they've now established critical mineral rights. Even those who want to see more electric cars, no matter where you make them, those batteries are almost entirely dependent on the ability of the Chinese and the willingness of the Chinese Communist Party to produce it and export it to you. So if we don't change course, we are going to live in a world where much of what matters to us on a daily basis, from our security to our health, will be dependent on whether the Chinese allow us to have it or not. That's an unacceptable outcome.
Good call on that, Dan. And just a case in point, and you can say, that doesn't matter. Movies he mentioned. Remember Richard Gere? He was the heartthrob. He was the whole deal, right? What happened to him? Well, the Dalai Lama, his friendship, his connection, his using his platform with him. And you don't see much of it. And it's due to their influence. I still think they influence the NBA. Major League Baseball has big stuff there. They're not an adversary. They're the enemy. Not the entire Chinese population, but the country and significant forces there. They are the enemy of the world. They're looking at this over the next 50 to 100 years. They're going to supplant and they're going to take over even more of the world. That's what we're up against. Got to be sober about this, serious. He laid it out. Blood pressure medicine, movies. They're already calling the tune behind the scenes. Let them continue on this course, and you're going to see even more of it. Look, a couple days from now, is President Trump going to tell us, does he know? I don't have any sense of that, about the drones over Jersey. Are they Chinese related? Look at how that went away. Holidays, now we're on to other stuff. It's still there. You saw what they did with the balloon. Now, Trump wouldn't have stood for that. He would have shot it down at some point early on. They are a menace. They are the enemy. Now, what's the best way? We are intertwined, though. That's the problem. Rubio's right. From everything. Medications. We saw that during COVID. So I think Rubio's a good guy on this. He gets it. He'll be trying to influence that. You got to send the message that you're not going to win this. We're not going to have an open war with them, but we are at war with them economically in every other way. 855-839-1210.
I do have more on that
if
you want it.
Yeah, let's hear it, Dan.
Here you go. Take a listen.
We welcome the Chinese Communist Party into the global order, and they took advantage of all of its benefits, and they ignored all of its obligations and responsibilities. Instead, they have repressed and lied and cheated and hacked and stolen their way into global superpower status, and they have done so at our expense and at the expense of the people of their own country.
Yeah, keep that one, Dan, for tomorrow, please. Put that on the list. Yeah, and we know about this. We know about the sweatshops. We know about beyond the Muslim population there, what they do. And complicit, you have the NBA, Apple, and a bunch of others. And you could argue Americans buying products from there. It's hard not to. This is what we're up against. This is not going to be easy to push back on this. But he's right. Even within a few more years, if we don't, they're going to call the tune even more. Let's go to Robert in Ben Salem. He's on Talk Radio 1210. Hey, Robert.
Hey, Tom, Dan, it's good to talk to you guys today. Real quick on New Jersey, and I don't mean this as a shot, but I'm not sure that New Jersey has its own culture per se. It seems to me like outside of the beaches, South Jersey was always farmland and jug handles with a taste of Philadelphia, whereas North Jersey was basically a suburb of New York City. I always see them trying to be New York City. So I don't know. It seems like they have a lot of people coming in, like some of the southern states do from the Sunbirds, importing their culture in as well. So it's kind of like a mishmash. Not a bad thing, but I don't know if it's anything like
when Murphy tells us Jersey values, as if he grew up with this and he knows it. It's stunning.
Isn't he from Massachusetts?
Yes, of course.
Okay, great. That's wonderful.
And that hair is real too. Yeah.
To the side question, I heard what the Earl was saying about, the cliffs of Okinawa, and we all know what our Rangers did on D-Day, climbing the Pointe du Hoc cliffs. But there was a situation where Alexander the Great, who conquered an astonishing amount of the world in a short period of time, and he only left Greece with 35,000 troops. He was augmenting his troops with people that he liberated from the Persians as he moved out. And that's an amazing feat. But there's a point where in Kazakhstan they came across a mountain stronghold. Only one road going up into the stronghold. Everything else was cliffs all around it. In fact, the Samogians were taunting the Greeks, saying, "You're never going to get up here and conquer." So it was considered impregnable. The night before the battle, Alexander the Great got 300 of his troops who knew how to mountain climb a little bit to climb 200 to 300-foot rock cliffs at night so that they could come up behind the enemy and surprise them, which they were able to do, and the enemy surrendered. But when the 300 were climbing, about 30 of them fell to their deaths, and pursuant to not wanting to give away the surprise, none of them made a sound as they fell to their deaths. And that is what is hardcore and an amazing human feat to me, because we all know if we're falling 200 feet, we want to scream something out, but they kept their mouth shut and accepted their fate and led to the success of the operation. And we don't have that kind of determination anymore,
Thank you, Robert. Wow. I don't know. Between him and Earl, that's heavy-duty stuff. That's amazing. Those are great human feats. I see a couple of others coming up that are spectacular, too. You can hit us with that. It's the lightning round.
Can I just get a final word in from Marco Rubio? Just
yes.
Fantastic.
Sure.
First of all, do you agree that the PRC is the biggest threat that we face as the United States?
The Communist Party of China that leads the PRC, is the most potent and dangerous near-peer adversary this nation has ever confronted. They have elements that the Soviet Union never possessed. They are a technological adversary and competitor, an industrial competitor, an economic competitor, a geopolitical competitor, a scientific competitor now, in every realm. It's an extraordinary challenge. It's one that I believe will define the 21st century. When they write the book about the 21st century, there's going to be some chapters in there about Putin. There's going to be some chapters in there about some of these other places. But the bulk of that book about the 21st century will be not just about China, but about the relationship between China and the United States and what direction it went.
All right. He used the word adversary. He has to. I'm not going to call it adversary. It's the enemy. It's the enemy. And it's the enemy of the world. That's what they mean to do. And the enemy of vast numbers of their own people. 855-839-1210. That's how you get in on Talk Radio 1210.
This is Larry Steinitz with Investor Schooling. Do you know when the best time to buy investment properties is? It's now. It's always now. You just need to learn how to buy them correctly. Go to investorschooling.com and sign up for a complimentary class this Thursday night and learn how to buy investment properties and make money every time. That's right. That's what we teach. We teach how to buy investment properties and make money every time. Go to investorschooling.com and RSVP right now. Take a class this Thursday night at 7 o'clock. That's investorschooling.com. This is Larry Steinitz with Investor Schooling. Don't go through life ignorant about how to become a millionaire. Learn how to invest in real estate, the stock market, precious metals, and learn from an expert. At Investor Schooling, we teach these things and more. We only provide education, and we will teach you how to leverage real estate, how to leverage the stock market, and how to leverage precious metals to make more money than you've ever made before. Go to investorschooling.com and take a complimentary class this Thursday. We will see you there, investorschooling.com. That's investorschooling.com.
Take charge of your finances in 2025 by saving more and spending with purpose. First Harvest Credit Union is here to help empower your financial goals. Open our growth checking account and earn as high as 2% annual percentage yield, while earning more and enjoying flexible access to funds. Visit firstharvestcu.com/growthchecking or your nearest branch to open your account or to get details. First Harvest Credit Union, serving the Delaware Valley for 85 years. Membership restrictions apply. Insured by NCUA.
Hey, navigation? Take me to KiaofCherryHill.com.
For January only, KiaofCherryHill.com is offering 0% APR for up to 72 months on select models. KiaofCherryHill.com is home to over 300 new Kias available to choose from. KiaofCherryHill.com is offering ultra-low lease payments for the month of January. Available 24/7 at KiaofCherryHill.com. 0% for 72 months equals $13.89 per thousand financed through KMF. On approved credit. Ends 1/31/25.
Hi, Dawn Stensland here. You've heard me talk for years about Chapman Windows, Doors, and Siding. I love the work the Chapman family team has done in my home, especially that glass wall of patio doors in my foyer. You know by now, if I needed new windows, doors, siding, stucco remediation, I would only trust the Chapman family team. Until the end of January, get 50% off any standard door installation when you buy a new door. A new front entry door can really change the look of your home. If you have an upcoming wedding or maybe a graduation taking place this year, I'd take advantage of this fantastic promotion before it's too late. And yes, you have so many choices with the Chapman family team, including Provia. They're going to work with you to pick the perfect door for you. Either visit their showroom in Westchester or they'll come to your home. Call or text 610-431-8898, ChapmanWindowsDoors.com. Chapman, tell Dawn sent you.
When you're still looking for love, Valentine's Day sucks. Every restaurant is fully booked. Suddenly, all chocolates are heart-shaped, and all the PDA. Thankfully, California Psychics can give you the guidance you need to find the one. We guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. And new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com and experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
The following heartwarming yet informative scene is brought to you by Trust and Will.
Son, your grandpa and I used to work on this car together, and when I'm gone, I want you to have it.
Wow. Thanks, Dad. Doesn't count. What you need is a will. Luckily, Trust and Will makes it easy. Designed by attorneys, but customized by you, you can easily create a state-specific, legally valid document that actually counts. Now, let's hear this tiger purr, am I right? Start your will at trustandwill.com. Use offer code COUNT for 10% off and make it count. Trust and Will is an online estate planning service. For details, see trustandwill.com.
Free speech lives here.
The Dom Giordano program.
On Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
The time has come for the final test.
We usually call it the lightning round.
That's right. That's what it is. Marcus Aurelius, too, knows the good stuff on Twitter. He had a good one. And Dom's 40-yard football throw, which we're working up for this summer. Henry, you'll be part of this, so be thinking of various modalities that should be legal in most states to help me throw it 40 yards.
To help you?
Yeah, to help
you
me.
Just do it naturally.
There's no such thing.
Oh,
we need some help here. Got to get those final 8 yards. Dan was throwing 45, I'd say, in flip-flops. Maybe a little bit more.
I expect that from him.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
All right, let's go to Pete in South Philly. What's your human feat, Pete?
Hey, how you doing? Speaking of summer, real quick, Dom, next time you're down Sea Isle, give a shout-out on the radio because me and my buddy want to play you and Dan 2-on-2, and we'll give you 5 points to 11. Count by one.
Wait a minute. You're going to give me 5 points to 11. Can I sub Henry in for Dan?
Well, I know. Well, Dan's 6'8", so why would you want to sub him? Oh, he has the lateral movement of a turtle. I forgot about that.
Look, Pete, if you sub me in for Dan, we'll spot you the 5 points.
Yeah, there you go, right there. Yes. Yeah, there you go, Pete.
Okay, you know what? You got to give us a shout-out. We'll be down there. My buddy lives down there all summer, and we'll get down and we'll play some 2-on-2.
Come over to Mulligan's. We'll set that up. We got a lot riding on this, Pete.
I would love that. Listen,
giving us 5 in a game in 11. We don't play that way in South Philly. It's by twos, too. But that's another story.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to win. You got to win by 2. I know how to play. I've been played in every league in Philly. I played in the Sunny Hill League, the Baker League, everywhere. I played college basketball.
How tall are you, Pete?
I'm 6'5", but I'm also 69 years old. But I still play every week, and I still play down the University of Penn Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So let me give you my greatest feat because I know you're we're short for time. Okay. From 1973 to 1983, I worked on the Phillies ground crew. Okay. And in 1973, the Great Wallenda, his name was Carl Wallenda, but he went by the name the Great Wallenda. He walked on the top of the stadium on a rope from the right field foul pole all the way over to the left field foul pole, and we had to hold the ropes on the ground, and his family was walking around, make sure we were pulling them as tight as we can so the rope that he was walking on wasn't swaying. And he's also carrying a 16-pound pole, long pole, to balance him because if he leaned to the right. And it was a little windy that day. And Wallenda was no kid. He was 67, and he took a shot all the time before he went up and did that. Here's the point. He only got $7,000 for it. But here's the thing. When he got to second base, he did a headstand on second base. Now think about being above Veterans Stadium, walking from the right field to the left field, doing a headstand at second base. That's the greatest. And I saw everything at the stadium. I saw fights. I saw streakers. I saw Muhammad Ali fight a wrestler. I seen everything. And I've never seen anything in person
All right, Pete,
like
that
this.
is a great one. We got a live one here in Pete, Dan. I think that's a pretty good story. We're going to need a couple minutes, and I know we're short on time today. So, Henry, that last call was the call was great, and the headstand is, and it's windy down. Even on a non-windy day, it's windy. That's a windy tough thing.
What he mentioned to me on the phone that he didn't really mention there is that he didn't have just one shot before he went on. He had 3 shots before he got up on the tightrope.
Well, I can imagine that. Is that your winner, or do you have another?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
He's been on. I took his call so long ago, and he's
Dan, how
been my
about
winner
you?
the whole time.
I really like that answer as well. Also, we had the Apollo 13 not burning up, Desmond Doss, Charles Lindbergh, Greeks falling off a cliff. I'm going to go with the last one there. I really like that
it was both the call, the presentation, the inside of it, how windy, and I guess the headstand. I still like the man on a wire, though, the guy above the trade centers. But a headstand, can you imagine after all that liquor? Oh, my God. Nobody mentioned Kite Man flying in, though. That was an all-time great Phillies twist. All right, that's a winner. Name goes into the hat. We'll pick it up tomorrow, and we'll bring you anything else that happens with Biden tonight, et cetera, and this deal. It's obvious to me the fingerprints of Trump are on this, making this happen, maybe even with Netanyahu. We'll see how it shakes out in the minds of everyone by tomorrow. But Rich Cioli is next, back with you for 4 big hours. Follow me on Twitter until tomorrow at Dom Show 1210, at Dom Show 1210. Great stuff today. Let's do it for 3 big hours again tomorrow. Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
Wesley is a truck driver.
I drive a truck, and I love what I do.
A truck driver with IRS troubles.
They told me I owed them $43,000.
It got really bad.
Quite a few letters in the mail. They were talking about wage garnishment, coming after my house, my car. Yeah, they don't play around. I seriously thought that I was going to lose everything.
One sleepless night, Wesley finally made a call to Optima Tax Relief at 2 a.m.
Kind of figured I'd get a machine, but I didn't. I actually got to talk to an actual person in the middle of the night.
He